So there's audio again.
Wait.
And go ahead.
We're doing a show tonight about you.
Yes. We are.
That was the intro.
There you go.
So the question I have that everybody wants to know, dying question that a lot of people want to know is, you came up with the name Battlestar Galactica. How much of a fan of Battlestar Galactica were you?
Is that a question people want to know? Is that
100%.
really? Yeah. I knew nothing. I knew nothing about Battlestar Galactica. Except for the 80s stuff. I didn't know the new series that came out in like 2003 or whatever. I only knew the 80s stuff. And if you asked me about that, I was like, oh, hey, I happen to know this. Happen to know that, some of the suits were later used or copies of them in Power Ranger series. So, hey, I know something. But I didn't know that. But I had to watch it after
Wonderful.
I took the name.
Okay. So we're going to move on for a second.
God.
Listen, that was a really long-winded answer.
Hey, I'm here to talk. Here to tell stories.
You're here to tell
Let people know about
stories.
Me.
Okay, so what we're going to talk about right now is you and I have known each other for a very long time.
Yeah.
When we were kids, you were an angry young man.
What? No, that's a lie.
That's a fact.
That's a lie.
That's 100%
I was
a fact.
not an angry young man. No, that's a lie. It's a lie.
You're kidding me right now.
What are you talking about?
You were strangling Tony Wiggins like that?
I'm falling down the hill.
But you were,
okay, no, okay.
You were an angry young man.
We were kids and we were skating down a hill that we definitely shouldn't have skated down.
Well, that's not the question. Hold on.
No, that's not the question.
You're not answering.
You didn't even ask the question. You just made a statement.
When did you know that the anger was gone? How did you really get a hold on that, Bruce Banner?
I was no longer the... All right, when I knew I was no longer the Hulk, I guess, that was... I don't know, like around the 8th or 9th grade?
That's when you got to hang... Because you joined ROTC.
Yeah, no, the junior year then of high school, junior year. Yeah. That's when it all kind of disappeared.
So that's a little intro of what we're gonna. So Daniel, if you don't know who he is, he does the Doctor Who show. You're on the Retro Power Ranger show, the Power Ranger, the regular show. And that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
So you're on. No, I feel like there's another show.
There's Doctor Who. There's the two Power Rangers.
Oh, Gingerdale. So there you go. So you are on 4 shows, and we're gonna get into how you got involved in this. Any advice you have for other aspiring people that want to do this kind of stuff. But before we get into that, I think the first question is: you sweat probably more than the average human being. Number one.
It's scary, actually. I don't know. I think of the glandular issue. I don't know. I don't know.
You do. You're the only person I have those sweats when they're text messaging.
So that's if I'm text messaging about like food or something.
The questions that we have that the general audience do want to know about are kind of like what were your fandoms and geek stuff? What was it growing up?
Growing up, man. Honestly, you know what? I think, and that's why I work so well with hashtag. It's because my geek was just like, weird enough to say history, but it had to be the history that was like affecting me directly. And I think that's what pop culture is. And I was literally just ingesting pop culture in any way possible. So all of it, like Bionic 6, King Arthur and Knights of the Round Table, Justice or whatever, like all these old school cartoons, old movies and things like that, even music. It was just taking it all in. So I was a Renaissance, like kind of geek in a way.
But not an athlete.
No, well, hey, well.
Well, when we were kids, you looked like an athlete, but you were terrible at sports.
I looked like an athlete, but I was bad at sports. The only sport I was good in was track, and also boxing. That was it.
Yeah, because football and basketball, you were garbage at.
God. It's not my business.
So we do have the Super Chat feature. The Super Chat feature, you already know what it does. It helps support the show, but it also gets your questions directly to Daniel as you guys progress. We also have, as Daniel's wearing them right now, Cool Geek T-shirts. You can get those on TeePublic. The TeePublic store, the link is in the description below. You can get your... the link is actually not in the description, mainly because this is a new stream.
Yeah, it's going to be on the screen right now. So
but you can't copy and paste that, so just hit TeePublic. Just do a Google search with TeePublic and that hashtag show.
That's it.
It'll guide you in the right direction. Currently, right now, you're going to be ending the con season. To start the new con season, get one of those Cool Geek T-shirts in there right now. Now, let's talk about young Daniel Jerome.
Yeah.
I like to call him Young Blackwing.
Yeah, what, me, Young Blackwing?
Because you guys looked.
So why
exactly
isn't he like young?
He'd be young Daniel Jerome.
Yeah, right.
So let's take it back.
Look at young Daniel.
You were a troubled kid, a troubled youth.
What? Wait, what?
It's my narrative. I tell the story.
Okay, all right. Wow.
This is from the dirt sheets.
Wow. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
So, in your troubled youth, you had we touched upon the anger issues you kind of came from.
Okay.
Was it the ROTC that drew you out of your anger issues?
Not at all.
What
Not
was
at
it
all.
then? Eating healthy?
It was church.
Oh, he was
Right?
a church
It was
guy.
church,
Jesus
remember?
Christ.
Oh, that was the worst. But yeah, no, I was heavy in the church, like all of it. Like I was definitely in like holy roller type stuff, man. Trust me, I was definitely a church guy. And then wasn't anymore. That's about it. Like no, I just realized, and it's not like I was like, oh, there's no God.
What
or
drew you
anything
to
like
the
that.
church?
You know what?
The food.
My older brother.
Your older brother.
Was it.
That was
It
my next
my
guess.
whole thing was my
That's
older
Jalen.
brother.
I mean, that's Blackwing. I mean, is that a picture of Blackwing?
Yo, oh my God, yo, Blackwing. Yo, tu su papa. Right, is that how it was? Is that what
Yo
it
soy tu papa.
Yo su, is that what he says? Right.
And
Yeah. I'm just saying the line.
Okay, so
I'll be
here
back,
let's take this back. So you in high school is kind of like when you started doing the ROTC thing. You said church is kind of what drew you into the straight and narrow.
Yeah, ROTC only.
But wait.
Okay,
I
alright.
think there's something that a lot of people are missing because we glazed over this church thing, but this is actually
Okay, church was a very big and important portion.
not
of my life.
just being important.
Uh-huh.
You didn't at the time. You didn't drink. You didn't smoke. You didn't
yeah.
cuss. He didn't use bad language.
No, I didn't, and I didn't do a lot of things. I did not do a lot of things.
When did you leave Scientology?
Come on, dude. I love Scientology. I was not a Scientologist, I'll tell you that much, because I don't want them coming for me, dude. They're like the Illuminati. Not the Illuminati, but Illuminati. Like,
Why did you not continue your church-going ways? You were gone every Sundays.
God, you know what? I got divorced. Right? That was the thing. I got divorced, and that.
Well, we didn't even glaze. We forgot even about the marriage.
We're going so far. It's everywhere. You're everywhere.
All right, so let's talk about that. You were married for a short amount of time. Well, for a long amount of time. So this is the time in our lives where you kind of separated from the group. You did your own thing. You were a married man. Mm-hmm. You had a kid. Do you remember the advice I told you before you got married?
Don't get married.
Well, I didn't say it in those words exactly.
That was the advice.
I didn't say that exactly.
What did you say?
I said you don't have to be married to have sex. Is exactly what I told you.
Yes, that's true. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that was possible.
You learned the hard way. You live, you learn. You really did live and learn. So when you did get married, let me ask you this, because you know a little bit about what was the reason that the relationship didn't work out? If we could dive a little deeper.
Oh yeah. All right. So, all right. This goes in. So,
that's what she said.
At least from the marriage, though, no joke. From the marriage, I did have my beautiful daughter. You know, right now she's like 14. But I have my beautiful daughter, and that was like a big thing for me. And it really helped, like, kind of get me complete, or at least understanding some things as far as like growing up from being a boy to a man. Mm-hmm. You know, because I chose to have the kid. It wasn't like, oh, slip up. You know, so and she's my ace. She's like, really, we're connected. So that was definitely an important portion. But
time out. Masked Rider Blue, who I think is Daniel Diaz. First of all, he's trying to say that was terrible advice. If this is Daniel Diaz, you know it was terrible? The stupid meme you made. And that caught a lot of traction because that was idiotic. Read the room, man. Read the room.
Read the room.
Go ahead.
Oh, but there you go. There's pictures of her right now. Like she's definitely a cosplayer. She's an artist, and just all around cool kid. There she is hanging out with Peter Siddhartha. I mean, what the heck? Anyway, but so beyond having the kid, having my daughter, I was married for like 7 years, and we started to have just a lot of weird problems, arguments and stuff like that. And ultimately, it comes to a moment where.
And you spelled terrible wrong, you moron. Go ahead.
Dear God.
It's the truth. Learn it.
Joe is coming for people's
heads.
Learn
spelling.
Tonight.
Listen, I'm not in the mood to fuck around, so go ahead.
He's coming for people's heads. So with that, we kept having arguments consistently, and there was a lot of things going on. Just a lot of other personal issues that were going on with her. So it was kind of tough. And then, of course, because they're going with her, they're dealing with me. And there comes a point where we have a really big argument, and she just says, you know what, before you, I was gay. I was never with a man. You were the first man I've ever been with. And being honest, as a guy, you hear that and you're kind of like, oh, pat me on the back. Hey, look at me. I just converted someone. I should wear a shirt. It's like convert, like conversion therapy or whatever. I don't know, whatever it is. But I felt pretty proud about that. And then so I had to take a moment after, feeling great on my high horse and step back and tell her, like, well, ultimately you love who you love. So, I mean, if you love me, then we're fine, And that's how it was. It went on for a little bit. And then, 2 years after that, because I was at the 5th year mark, that happened. 2 years after, she walks in and watched my favorite TV show, Lost, right there. And just got the DVR, so I didn't know how to really work it yet and everything. And she's like, we got to talk. And I knew what we got to talk means. And I was like, yeah, I definitely understand, like we got to talk. And then she just starts talking and I'm like, shoot, the show's on at the same time. So I'm watching the show, I'm not hearing what she's saying. And then I was like, can we wait till after Lost? And, I don't know what she said. I saw like this and she walked out the room. And then I figured out how to use the DVR. And then I walked back and I spoke to her. And then we figured out about, okay, well, I'm not going to share you or anything like that. So we got to have a divorce. And with that, bada bing, bada boom, I was divorced at 25. And I met her in the church.
So you're Ross Geller.
Yeah, literally, I am. I'm Ross Geller in that vein. But I'm not Ross as in I'm going to chase Rachel. That was, oh, God, poor Ross. No spine for that guy. There you go.
That's not his ex-wife.
No, that's not my ex-wife, but that's me after the divorce, though. Literally, like, almost instantly. Wow, yeah, that's me after the divorce. No joke though. That is, you'll hear a story about that. But yeah, that's.
So what do you think you learned out of that whole experience?
You know what I learned, honestly?
Is that you don't have to be married.
Oh, damn, I was going to drop that line. Dang. Yeah, that's exactly what I learned.
Truer words have never been spoken. This is going to lead us into our next foray. So Daniel gets divorced, and he comes around us again. By this time, me and our friends, we were known as the Clique at the time.
Yeah.
It was me and a few of our friends that we kind of grew up with, and our new friend, actually, who's a mutual friend of Elle's here, ironically enough.
Oh, yeah.
We actually met Elle through this friend.
Yeah. I wanted to include an old school Elle picture, but I was like, I'll hold back.
So we all kind of hung out together. We had this group, and for a couple of summers, we were going strong, heavy and strong. At that time,
Pure Ave, baby.
it was, I think it was 3 single guys, one that was on the rocks, and one that was in a marriage that I hated.
Yes.
And it was the 5 of us that were inseparable, hung out all the time. And I was in and out of relationships. We were just, if you can think of like
the Rat Pack, man.
Yeah, if you can think of like Entourage, that's the closest that I could say it was. But from that experience, we did a lot of wild things.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
Chat me up about some of the most memorable wild moments that you can remember from those days.
All right, you remember? You remember a certain convertible that was in a parking lot?
Yeah, I do. Chris Chun, yeah, I do remember.
Oh my God. Okay, so there's a moment where we were all hanging out, and we look at a car, and we're like, "Hey, isn't that so and so's car?" Or like whatever. We all knew that person, and we looked at the car, and we were like, "Why is the top down?" I don't know, but we're going to take pictures in it. And so we all just jump in the car and start taking pictures inside of it and blah, blah. And then the fun part was we go into the bar and he's there and he works in the bar. Then we start slowly sending him pictures of us sitting in his car while he's sitting there talking to us. And he keeps looking at his phone and just... And then he's like, what's going on?
I want to reference Don Juan in the chat right now, and I 100% agree with him. Lost was... top 5 greatest shows ever. I agree.
Top 5.
100%.
Lost is definitely one of the top 5 best television shows ever. Truly. I agree.
Continue on with the story.
Yeah, so we just kept freaking with him the whole night and sending him pictures. He freaked out after a while, and he was not happy about it.
Is that Blackwing?
It was still fun. Is that Black? Really? All right, that picture right there is Joseph, myself, and our friend.
That was in my clubhouse.
That was in your clubhouse.
I had a little house in my backyard. It's a true story.
That was his clubhouse, and that was trippy. That was that. People say it all the time. You look like what's his name?
I look like
what is that? From Ninja Turtles, the first
Ernie Reyes.
Yes, you look like a young Ernie Reyes right there, and I look like Blackwing now. I was like right there. That's what.
Hey,
I was thinking about that.
This isn't gonna fill itself up.
Wait, could you?
These aren't gonna fill them. So you want good stories? Fill these up. All right, so let's move on. Because I actually want to start digging into some dirt in a second.
Okay, all right, cool.
I have a special call-in guest. You probably didn't know this. Kia.
Oh, hey, ho, no, whoa, and I know she's gonna watch this later on the rewatch. She said,
So we're gonna talk about her for a second.
Woo! Okay, all right, fine.
We always talk about.
No pictures of her. I know that for sure.
Well,
I know. I did not.
So here's the deal. So you always talk kind of like very fondly of her. She's a good friend of ours. She grew up with us.
Yeah. See.
Would you go as far as say that's your one true love?
That's my first love.
But not your one true love.
Not my one true love. My first love. Definitely my first love. I can't say she's my one true, man. She'd be with me right now. You know?
Would you want that to be the case, though?
Well, I wouldn't say no. But, it's not my one true. Because, yeah, it's not my one true.
You ever been arrested?
Yeah.
For what?
Does it count? It's in Mexico. It's another country.
Yeah, it counts.
Okay, I got arrested in Mexico. I got arrested in Mexico for nothing, actually. I guess it was just, Mexico. They arrest you and they try to take your money. That's it. I got arrested in Mexico. I've been arrested here in the U.S. I got arrested for... Honestly, no. I got arrested for being black. I'm not gonna lie about it.
Well, that's not a ticket
Cop
you
was
can
like, no, I know, right? No, but they're
skin too dark.
No, first they were
date,
they.
October 14th.
I'm driving in the wrong neighborhood, one of those things, and hey, we're gonna run your plates and blah blah. Oh, we found something on your plates and blah blah. And I was like, well, there should be nothing on my plates, but apparently they found something, and then they take me in up to the point where they're about to book me, and then it was like, well, there's nothing, because there was nothing on my plates. I didn't get it. So
I actually want to talk about a couple of things right now, and you actually kind of started leading us there right now. But growing up, because you grew up in an era, a lot of you guys in here are a lot younger. Some are about our age, but you grew up in an era where it wasn't cool to be a geek. But not only did you have the disadvantage of being a geek, but you also grew up as a black geek.
Yeah.
So I kind of want you to walk me through the journey of how. Was that any difficult when you were growing up? Because when we were kids, we used to go to this convention center before conventions were a thing.
Yeah.
Shrine Auditorium every month. But chat me up about how it felt like growing up being a black geek and before geek culture was really accepted.
Jeez. Honestly, growing up as a black geek is one of the
There's
toughest
you on
things.
the far right side.
There you go. These are me and my boys in New York. And the thing is, all of those three, they're brothers. They're all three of them, and they have the Geordie LaForge glasses. We all had them, and it was just like, yo, this is my crew, this is my clique, and that's actually published in some hip hop book. It's like the history of hip hop or something like that. It's a Russell Simmons book, and that picture is in it. I get royalties from that stuff, but that picture's in it, and the thing is, it's just like. Being a black nerd is something where it's almost like being a black person, where there are particular things that we do that we're able to communicate to each other. You're in a room, whatever like that, you look over and you see another black person, you just kind of, you do the nod, and they do the nod back, and it means so much. Because it's like, I know where you are, you know where I am, we're here, and we get it. And it's like there's so much to be said with yet so little. It's the same thing when it comes to being black nerds. You'll see someone probably wearing a backpack with something, or they'll have a toy or anything, a bit of clothing, and it's just you'll see the thing that's nerdy, and you're like, oh, I recognize that too. So now you're connected with them. But the thing is, you're already sectioned off. Back in our day, it wasn't segregation, but socially, people kind of separated themselves. So black people would hang out with black people, and et cetera, et cetera. If you were black and you liked comics and you liked these particular things and you wanted to hang around and talk about it, no, you were corny. And if you were corny, nobody wanted to hang out with you. So that was it. They didn't care, and then it came worse if you were smart, because I don't know. In that back then in the black culture, you were just supposed to be. You were just supposed to be something that was there for entertainment. You weren't supposed to be anything else. So seeing this now and learning that, okay, as a black person, you can be complex. You can be an individual that has so many layers to you. You can be smart. You can be funny. You can be nerdy as well. You can be all these things. You can be beautiful. All these things that you didn't know you can be all at once. It used to be you can only be one. So that was very hard. And black people, we tend to ostracize ourselves or each other very quickly, and we like to separate each other just according to like complexion. So even when that goes down, where it's like, oh, light skins and dark skins and in the middle, blah blah, that happens with us on a daily basis.
Right.
So colorism is a big thing. How much more is it when you're thinking about culturalism? And it's just like, what do you like culturally? Oh, you don't like what everyone else is supposed to like? You're not down with Michael Jackson as much as we are? Oh, well, now you're cut off. You're canceled. Cancel culture started back then. And that's where it was. I was kind of like canceled for a long time until I figured out how to get into everything. I was not like the cool kid. Until high school, I was not the cool kid.
And then when you joined ROTC and drama, that really propelled you to the next level, I guess.
Not even ROTC,
right.
but drama definitely did. Drama did because it was like we had in high school we had a comedy drama kind of thing, and we won awards. We went nationally. We traveled. I met Bill Clinton at the time, and we performed over there at the White House. It was a big thing. I wish I should have got the paper clipping. I didn't do it. But like, that was like something that was cool. That was cool because it was comedy. People like to laugh, you know? So entertain me.
Let's talk about your stand-up comedy career, at least parts of it that I know about. Let's talk about when did you know that comedy was a route that you kind of liked going into? But also, there's a great story about Hermosa Beach and a comedy club, and I want to hear all about it.
Oh.
Chat me up about the time a heckler really got to you.
Okay. So we were
First part first, though.
First part first?
Yeah. Why the comedy route? And then
okay, cool. Part. Why the comedy? Comedy for me was a thing because if you can't find a comedy in tragedy, then you might as well just give up. That's how I've always said it. My dad said it, and it's an old saying a lot of other people say too. And it always made sense. Even though my dad was like a quiet little man that did not speak too much, more grunts than anything else, he had words of wisdom. So after I had the whole situation with my ex. You hear even how I tell the story. There's comedy in it, you know, and it was like that's my life. I always saw that there's something to be funny about, and I went to therapy. I'm talking to my brother. My brother's like, you should just go to an open
You went
mic."
to therapy for what?
After the divorce, just what's going on? Because really, after a divorce, a lot of people think to themselves, well, am I worth it? Is like what's wrong with me, things like that. I didn't have those, but I was afraid that it may start. So people are like, yeah, you should go to therapy. Oh man, that's horrible. What happened to you? But I was kind of like, you know, like I didn't care. But anyway, so
it was a different world then. Being gay wasn't as accepted as it is now.
No.
I mean, no, we're only talking like maybe 10 years ago, but still.
Yeah, it wasn't. And then so it was just like there was so much going on for her. And just along with that, there's so much going on with me. So talking to my brother was like, you should just go to open mic and just talk. And because, you know, alt comedy was starting up to be bigger and better. He's like, just go out there and talk. But I hear people do that now for just comedy and blah, blah. My brother did a little bit of comedy and he writes and blah, blah. So he's like, just do it. And so one night I went and I got on stage and I just talked. And I talked, but it was funny. I told people why I was there, and my divorce story, and then just other stuff about my life. And it worked well. It was funny. And I thought 5 minutes was what I was supposed to have. And then I'm looking over, and they're like, the light's not coming on. And the guy's like, go on. So I'm like, all right, 5 more minutes. I don't know what to do now. I'm just talking. And then I look over. All right, I know like 5 minutes has to have passed by now. And I'm sweating, because I always sweat. And no light's coming on to take me off. Then I go again. So I'm 15 minutes now, man. I don't know what's going on. It's like almost half of a TV special. You know? I don't know what's going on. And then after that, Dane Cook comes up. And he stands right next to me. He's like, all right, hey, Daniel Jerome, that was great. He was like, I was going to bump you off, but I liked what you did. So I just told him to let you keep going. And I was like, I didn't know what to say. We're sitting here on stage. I was like, I didn't know what to say. Like, you know, we're talking. And then he's like, all right, well, thanks. You know, go sit down. And then he goes on with his set, and he was like, yeah, Daniel Jerome. And then after, you know, he was like, hey, you did really good. You should keep doing that. You should keep doing. It's good stuff for you to do. You know, you did well. I had a joke about, like, you know when you got the shit knocked out of you when you're missing one shoe. When you just fucking wake up and you're like, well, there's a shoe on. You're like, yeah, he got the shit knocked out of him. That's how you know it's good. Because anytime in the hood somebody fights and boom, they get a good hit, if a shoe comes off and they leap in the air with the hit, that was a good hit. So then later he has a joke about like him, and he was like, blah blah, he got knocked down, blah blah, and he was missing a shoe, and that's how you knew it. And I was like, oh man, that was great. Like the same premise, which most people, it's like, how many millions of people are always having the same joke,
Sure.
So it was so cool. It was just so great.
Well, talk to me about the heckler.
So later, I go on stage. This was my second time doing that book club. Yeah. I do open mic.
I came late too. I
he
barely
did.
got there for the heckler.
I came to this place in Hermosa, and I did stand up, and I did the first night. Great, it was amazing. They were like, "You got to come back," and they're like, "You definitely come back next week. You come back." And I was like, "All right, cool." So I'm gonna tell people to show up. So I tell people to show up, thinking I'm gonna be doing amazing. Get up there, and this lady starts heckling me, and she is trying to just go in, and I'm like, I'm kind of lost here. I've never been heckled.
It threw you.
I was like, okay, all right, okay, cool. I can't finish. I was like, I couldn't finish my set. I don't know what to do. And I just put the mic down. And they were like, oh. And then so the speaker dude comes up and he just goes in on her. Like, are you serious? At an open mic? You do this? And he starts saying all this stuff. And I didn't know, because my set was supposed to be a thing of, well, from what I understand when it comes to comedy, if I'm trying to sell myself as a likable character and this is my set for it, I can't just tear into somebody and then go, all right, so my set's about being likable. It's like, no, now we're already out of it. You might as well just now be this rage monster.
You just shoot it.
So that's why I was like, oh, yeah.
All right, time out. Let me ask you a question then, because we do live shows. We have a digital live audience, but they're live nonetheless. Sometimes we get trolls. Sometimes we get people that disagree. Sometimes we get people from time to time. How do you handle them? Because in fairness to you now, you're probably one of the more, I would say, I guess right term is easygoing guys here. You're very middle of the road political guy.
Yeah, I try to.
So you don't really ruffle feathers. If you had the chance to ruffle some feathers, and if you see the chat, you know who the people that are in here. You take a lot of heat for some of the things you do.
Okay, all right. Are you gonna go?
No, we're gonna get there in a second.
Okay.
You take a lot of heat for some of the things you do. How do you respond to people in the chat that you do take heat from? For anybody that would want to start a YouTube channel, what's your best advice on how to respond to people that are outspoken? Granted, it's their right to be outspoken.
That's the whole thing. It depends on what you're trying to do as far as what you're trying to present for your channel or for your individual kind of character that you're giving out to the world. Do you want to be a face? Do you want to be a heel? Do you want to be a mid-card? What do you want to be? As far as how that works for you. I would like to be the nice guy.
When Jezzer wants to be a heel, so grow out a goatee. But no more on
That's
Jezzer
true.
later.
That's evil Jezzer. But I want to be a face, but at moments it's so much fun being a heel. And for what I will say is, if you're a creative, you're creating as far as doing something for an outlet. It's an outlet to get that energy out and to give the world something itself. And by doing so, you're leaving yourself open to be critiqued. So you have to be able to have a thick skin and be prepared for that. Now, with that, if you're going to be someone that's going to, all right, somebody says something to you and you're going to clap back, be ready, because when you clap back, they're still going to clap back at you. So you have to be ready. I'm a kind of person, if I do, I'm kind of prepared. I love to size people up from the jump immediately. Like, oh, okay, all right, I'm looking at you. I see everyone that's on the chat. I do pay attention. I go to your pages. I see what you look at. I see what you watch. Because just in case somebody says something to me, I'm going to be like, oh, well, here comes D-Day on you. I'm going to make sure I say something, and it's like, oh, wow, Daniel pulled that person's card. And it's like, now I said that. I'm not going to have to say anything else, right?
That brings up a great point. So earlier this year, Jezzer and you found yourself in a little bit of hot water. The show was when I was away. I believe I was out of town in France. Jezzer made the executive decision to go on with the show as scheduled, and the show went off. However, Jezzer made a comment, and then you laughed. Now, for a lot of you guys that don't know this, Daniel in general has laughs. It's kind of like his version of the stutter.
Yep.
So anybody that stutters, he kind of laughs. It's not a... it's almost kind of like a fill. You know, how people have filler words.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think, what's the word I say? Realistically, all the time.
Yep.
So
Or
you laughed.
actually, or one of those.
So
I laughed.
You laughed at this inopportune time, and
did.
the next day you guys took a lot of heat. You were not privy to this, but I did get a call on Sunday from Jezzer being like, "Hey, we're gonna take a lot of heat.
Mm-hmm.
What should I do?" And at the time, it wasn't a big deal yet.
Yeah.
And then it kind of just snowballed.
Yeah.
And said situation. Do you want to talk about the situation that we're in, and I'll take it from there?
Yeah. Okay.
Tell us the situation, and from your point of view, what happened on that show?
Okay. So we were here on that hashtag show. You have to understand, because it is pop culture, it still counts as culture. We are cultural commentators.
Yeah.
It's one way to say it. And with that, sometimes we're going to say things that may not be the most popular opinion. Other times we are going to say something that is a popular opinion. But the thing is, we're doing this so that there is a discussion. And with that, Jezzer had an opinion. And Jezzer's opinion may be something that a lot of people may not like.
Do you remember what that opinion was?
Yes, and I'm going to go into that because Jezzer said essentially there's an individual who had a domestic violence issue. Let's be direct, with his ex-girlfriend, and after the breakup, she reveals that he did some things, as far as placing his hands on her, hitting her, abusing her physically. And with that being the case...
And by the way, I'm going to say we're not bringing this up to dredge up Brad
Nope.
News. We're bringing it up for a context of a story. But go ahead.
Exactly. So with that being the case, Jezzer said a lot of people we started to notice, and this is something that's where it gets me. A lot of people started to jump online and say things to the extent of, well, I'm concerned about being at the con because that person's there. That's a valid comment. That is very valid. You cannot make fun or laugh at someone's worry about their own safety. You cannot. And if you do, you're a freaking monster. Now, the thing is, Jezzer also noticed that for some of these people, they're out of state. Okay. And so he also noticed there were threads where other people were like, later, oh, hey, can't wait to see you at Power Morphicon. Because that was the con that they were concerned that person was going to be at. And they said, oh, I'm not going to Power Morphicon. And they were like, oh, no, why? Oh, no, I just wasn't going to go. I wasn't going. Wait a minute. A few days earlier on your thread, you just said that you were like, oh, you're so concerned. And then we start to see a trend. There are a lot of people doing the same thing that were not even intending to come to the con. So Jezzer said, this is kind of ridiculous where all these people are jumping up and saying this thing. It's not like he's going to go around choking random people at the con. I laughed, and I laughed because I was just like, what do I say? And then also, it was kind of like, visually, that's kind of like a weird thing, like a cartoon. I do think of things immediately. I am a writer, so the thing is, I will
Yeah, it could have fooled me on the website.
I know. But I go beyond and outside of the box. So with that, I think of it, and that's like, just some guy randomly walking around. And people are just standing in the line like, oh, I'm next. Like, oh my God, how'd that happen? It was just weird, stupid thinking at the same time. But that wasn't what made me laugh because it was like, my jokes are not funny to me and maybe funny to other people. I don't know. So with that, I just laughed because I was like, what? What? And you'll hear me. I laughed. I said, what? And I just laughed. People immediately got upset. And said that it had inopportune time to laugh, and that I was insensitive because of what Jezzer said. And people were sometimes, in some ways, not so upset at me at the laugh, but upset at Jezzer because of what he said. Jezzer's opinion was one, his. Two, it was not said in any level of being malicious.
But Jezzer's known for being rude. A controversial character.
No, very true. But it was not in any form to be malicious. Now, yes, it may have been
He did it for the views.
No, he didn't. But people did say that. But it was ill-advised and poorly timed. I will say that. And because of that, I can understand why some people were upset, and they immediately said that it seemed like he was being insensitive to the situation. But it was his opinion and his thought at that moment. So, now, with that, my thing was there were people that were online and they were saying some particular things that were kind of interesting to me, but there's something that happens later in this story that's why I have to share. just for what I'm thinking of.
What?
Later, this individual that the whole world was looking at, apparently the whole Ranger
Oh,
Nation.
yeah, we'll talk about that later.
All right, fine.
We'll get to that
fine,
in a second.
Fine.
I want to continue on this. So
that was that situation. Go ahead and you continue with it.
You caught a lot of controversy. Jezra actually thought he was going to be the one under the microscope on this. Actually, it was you that was under the microscope on this. And you got into a little bit of a Twitter dispute, a Twitter bout. It's all settled now, but since this is a spotlight on you, we got to talk about what happened.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how that Twitter battle started and kind of where it ended up and what got resolved from it.
Okay. So we did have, I guess, a beef battle. I don't know. It wasn't beef. It was just two different opinions, I believe. That's the best way to say it. I was immediately attacked and vilified, turned into a villain by a particular. There's so many ways to say it. A particular person online that's in the Ranger Nation, and has a following. And this individual says, to the extent
which we're fine with now, by the way.
Yeah. To the extent of this person says, that I was wrong. I was insensitive. How dare I say such a thing? You wouldn't understand it because you're a man, and you wouldn't understand it because you're a cis hetero man, and all these things. It starts really going into me, right? Just tearing me up. And these are all the ways in which you don't understand. And I mean, it felt like I was reading the Jezebel article. It just felt like it was like, all right, well, this is how much men are horrible people, and we're going to sprinkle feminism on it, but this guy's a horrible person. It felt like it was like an article on Trump. That's what it felt like, and I was like, okay, I get it, and I'm going to have to reply. And I was replying with, it wasn't my intention for, and this is what happened, and et cetera, and it was greeted with, but you still don't understand that you are this, that, and then it was back and forth because unfortunately we had to break down the communication where we didn't click properly. And I was like, from what I see what's happening, we're doing this in public, and we are supposed to be two public figures in this kind of community that's supposed to be about acceptance. This is not smart for us to continue to do. So immediately, once I figured that out, I sent her a private message. She sent me a private message. And the conversation was different. Because now we're like, cooler heads have to prevail. We have to understand exactly what's happening. And I was like, look, you know what? Before anything continues, I'm just opening up this private message with, I was like, I am sorry. That's the first thing I said was, I am sorry. I don't understand your point of view, and I don't feel that you understand mine. We need to have this conversation, and we, as individuals supposed to be influencers, we can't do this in public. This has to be something private that we can work out. If we need to, after we're done, we'll go out in public. I'll come out and say, I was completely wrong, blah, blah, whatever, if you need that, but let's be able to speak. And she understood immediately. It was like, oh, okay. I thought that you were trying to fight with me. Okay, I'm glad that you were not. This is what my opinion is. And it was like, oh, geez.
Do you think that it's any bearing on Ranger Nation, mainly because that it seems to be a very argumentative bunch in a generalization?
This is an issue that I had with it. Yes, I was worried and concerned with that. And that's why I said, okay, it's two public figures. Because right now, at that moment, Ranger Nation itself was a boiling pot. There are so many people with so many issues and so many different factions. And I didn't understand that. The first time I ever got introduced to Power Rangers, remember, you took me to the Power Morphicon, and
well, you knew Power Rangers before that.
Like as far as the Ranger Nation, I'm sorry, because I never really and truly interacted with the Ranger Nation. Sure, I was a fan at one time when I was younger, but we didn't call it the Ranger Nation. There wasn't the internet. There wasn't this and that. Well, as far as strong as it was,
sure.
Blah blah. So, internet's amazing now, blah blah yada yada. The Ranger Nation, and I don't understand exactly what it meant. I didn't understand the Ranger Nation meant a group that is considered a family, that its whole message is acceptance. I didn't understand that as Ranger Nation, we work and strive to make sure that the world itself is better, but beyond the world, we're better individually and as a group. I didn't get that. That is something that's amazing to me. And that's why so many people are, fans of Power Rangers even to this day. So with that being the case, I didn't get that. And then I understood it when I finally went to Power Morphicon for the first time. So to see it now, and it's still, I'm talking about right now, it kind of is disheartening. It really hurts because I feel that there are still issues, factions, people fighting, infighting, and all these things for no reason.
It sounds like hashtag show.
It's just like for no reason, where it's like, we're all here because we like one thing. Why can't we all just be friends?
In this Twitter exchange, this is the first time you publicly acknowledged that you were bisexual.
Yeah.
I want to touch on this for a second because a lot of people don't know this, and then I think it's important for representation in general that people know this, because you're one of my best friends, and you're also one of the coolest guys I know. But I also want to talk to you about this mainly because when you said that publicly, it's one thing to state it behind the scenes, and it's another thing to state it publicly. You doing that, you were kind of opening a little bit of Pandora's box.
I came out.
Not necessarily. I mean, you did.
Yeah.
But it's obviously not a big deal.
No.
But I think that people aren't looking at it from the actual public perspective.
Right.
When you did that, did this argument force your hand, or is there something you wanted to do for a while?
It was something that I wanted to do for a while, but I had to make sure that I presented to her the actual truth, that it was like, you're saying I don't understand these particular things because of this. Now, when I show to you that I definitely do understand them, and I understand them on a different level than you do, here this comes. So now that we are on this same level, why are we still fighting?
Right.
Why are we still arguing? And it was like, presenting that, though, I was like, really? It felt like a superhero, like, if I don't do this, everything else will fail. And it was like, so that's what I was like, all right, let me shed this for, like, the Ranger Nation. To people who are like, well, if we are talking about acceptance, etc., how can I not do that if I can't actually go ahead and be the honest, genuine me? Even in a moment like this where everyone's watching. So that's why I was like, you know what? If there isn't a place to do it, this would be the place. So then here it is. And yeah, it freaked me out.
Why did it freak you out?
Because I was like, whoa, once you put something out on the internet, it's on the internet forever, man. And
yeah,
you can't cover
screenshots
it
all
up.
about it.
Yeah, exactly. You can't cover it up. It's there, and it's a big thing.
So I've known you all your life. When did you figure out that you like dudes?
Honestly, I think it was college was an interesting time, but no, it wasn't college. It was after college.
Was it after you were married?
It was after the divorce.
Ah.
After the divorce. I had a friend who I didn't consider like anything else. We hang out all the time.
Can I guess who?
You don't know him.
At all?
I don't think you do. I don't think you know. You don't know Ken.
No.
I have a friend, no.
Barbie's ex, yeah.
Yeah, right? No, it's a dude named Kenichi. And we just call him Ken. So.
Who's we?
I have other friends.
Okay.
It's the summer me? that would, so my friend Ken, there are times where I would hang out with Ken, and we, all with the group. And with this group, we'd kind of alternate where Ken was spending the night, because Ken, one bit of alcohol, Ken was drunk. That was it. He was done. So
sounds like Jezzer.
Yeah, right? Like, he has the Asian glow, and he just...
That
boom.
sounds like Nagam.
So that was always the issue with Ken, and Ken would sleep over everyone else's house. One night he slept over mine, and he tried to make an advance at me, and I was like, oh, no, I'm sorry, that's not me. No. I don't want to be rude, but no, please don't be self-conscious. And it was just one of those, and he was like, all right, cool, and he went to sleep. And next in the morning, I'm like, yo, you want to talk about it? He's like, no, I don't want to talk about it at all. All right, cool, whatever, fine. Still hang out just like we always do. Moving on, blah, blah. We're men. Men don't talk, And with that, it happens again. Ken makes an advance. And I said no, but then I was talking to him about it. I was like, look, I'm not going to say no, and then, this is a really disrespectful second, But let's have that conversation. We talk about it. And it was just talking about it, and it was like, so I asked him, when did you first know you like dudes, and blah, blah. And it was that conversation.
He's full-blown gay.
Well, he was, I guess, like DL. Yeah, but he's
what?
He's full.
Oh,
he's
DL,
gay.
got you.
He's gay, but he's DL. So he tells me that, and it was just like, I thought about it then. When he said something to the extent of, you know what? Like, I asked him, how did you know? And then so he tells me, and it was just like, in the conversation, it was just like, oh my God, I've had that moment. oh, jeez, I've had that moment.
What was
Oh
the
man, I've
moments?
had that moment. It was just like moments where you paid attention, you've noticed, and you were just like, you look at another person too long, more than you should have, and you were just like, And there was a thought of, am I interested in this person? Am I not? Am I connected? Am I not? You know, like that. And it was just like, okay, I get this, I understand it, but there's more, but I just don't get it. I don't get it. And then from then, it was always thinking about it, trying to figure things out, blah, blah, yada, yada. And then I just said, you know what? Ken and I hang out a lot. Interested, we talk all the time, we hang out.
Give me a blowjob, dude.
Yeah. That's exactly how it was. It was like, Ken, let's test this out. No, I didn't say, Ken, let's test this out.
Sorry, go ahead.
Did you get him?
Jezzer did one of these.
One of these?
Or Jezzer's producing right now. He did one of these.
No. So then Ken and I chose to hang out and blah, blah, whatever, etc. And we ended up in a relationship. And it was a relationship for about a year and a half. And then Ken's grandmother got sick. He had to go take care of her. And that was that time when I flew out to Japan. I was in Japan for a bit. Ken flew me out. It was like, just hang out here for a bit. I hung out for about a month in Japan, and it was cool. But it was like, I can't leave my daughter, here. I can't live on another continent. I just can't, man. I can't. So he was like, all right, cool, I understand. Then later, Ken was like, look, like, my grandmother's dying. He has to take care of the family. And so he was like, this is where we can finally go, like us together, blah, blah. And it was like, I just can't leave my kid. And I can't take my kid from her mother.
If you didn't have a kid, would you have?
Yes.
Is Ken your one true love?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. And now I'm going to see him like around Christmas too. I'm like, I don't know about that. He's going to be like, what? He's going to start clicking on
Okay,
stuff.
let's move this into a new direction. So you have all this happens, and somehow you end up here with a bunch of zany folks at Hashtag Show.
Oh boy,
how did that happen?
So years back, we started a podcast. That's how it started. What do you mean? How did I mess it up?
Okay, Daniel. First of all, this guy, we were going to start a podcast about the entertainment industry.
Oh, I'll tell that part.
You messed it up.
Well, I did. Okay, we started a podcast, and unfortunately, the podcast didn't get off the ground
because you lost all the fucking audio from it. He's like, hey, I got this one clip done. Great, where's the rest of it? That's a little bit of a good news, bad news scenario.
So here's the good news.
This one really clip sounds great.
It's polished. I dropped out
on the negative side, we're going to do the whole thing over again because the rest of it's gone.
And because of that, unfortunately, we didn't do that podcast. It was a genius idea.
It was, and we'll maybe bring it back sometime.
Yeah, exactly. Make it a thing. But during that time later, Joe was already working in production, and Joe meets up with a few other creatives, and they started thinking about creating that hashtag show. But while they were still thinking about doing that, they stuck to the hashtag show doing some things on video, and almost everything else was podcast. We had like 4 or 5 podcasts at that time.
I think we had 2.
No, because we had
three.
Later
We had 3. Price of admission, stay tuned, and hashtag show.
Yeah, that's right. And then we also had video every once in a while. So it was it was that way that I guess we just got started. I was already I hitched onto a star, and I just.
Well, do you remember your first on camera stuff? Because I remember the very first.
My first on camera was because you didn't want to go.
I didn't. No, I was there. I just didn't want to do it.
Oh, okay. Joe didn't want to do. And which is crazy because later I end up working for him and we become friends and blah blah blah. Oh my god! So we choose to cover something at the Gallery 1982 here in California Regional, and it's an
art
pop culture art gallery. Really cool, really cool. Joe says I don't want to do the interview. I just don't. I don't care about most of the stuff. I just don't want to do it. And he knew that I was down because the curator is Jensen Karp. Shout out to you, Jensen. You'll probably not watch this. But Jensen is someone that I've been following forever. His rap career, his comedy career, and writing career, everything. So I was a big fan of Jensen.
Hey, Karp like the Pokemon?
Karp.
Ah.
So I was a big fan, and I would always like wish someday I'm going to be able to work with Jensen. It's going to be great, and then later I do. So I was like, yeah, I'm in. And then they sent me there, and I went ahead and did that interview. I interviewed him. I interviewed
The guy from Surf Ninjas, the kid from Surf Ninjas.
What is his name?
Oh man, he's your friend on
He's
Facebook.
He's my friend on Facebook and my phone book. We hang out.
That's terrible.
I'm just losing.
You
all
just
the
got
right
unfriended.
Come on, he's not gonna watch this later.
He's gonna unfriend you.
He's not gonna watch this. He's not gonna watch this. So with that being the case, it was like it was a great opportunity. And it was a great moment. I got to actually like interview people, talk to people, and say things, and I was happy with it. I was not the best, but I was learning. All
right, so I want to fast forward a little bit to your hashtag show career. Somebody that used to be here, you have a lot of heat with, and I want to know how the heat started and why it's a thing. I would assume that you don't have as much heat as you did in the past, but I do want to know about said person. I'm not going to say their name, but you can do the math for yourself. But this person was highly critical of you every step of the way. Why did that happen? And where do you guys stand now?
Honestly, I think
and he's in the Ranger community.
Yeah, he's in the Ranger community.
That sums it down to two people.
If I say the name, is that fine? Because I can say it, you just don't have to.
I'm not going to say it because it's not my story to tell.
Yeah, but if I happen to say it while I'm
go ahead.
It's fine. All right. This is late night, guys. Late night.
It's going to probably catch us a lot of heat. He's like, don't say it.
But we're cool now, so whatever. We'll talk trash, and then he'll call me, and we'll talk about it anyway. Who cares? I don't care. He's fine. He's a big man. So DJ didn't like me. I don't know why at that time DJ didn't like me. I don't know if it was like, well, I'm the black guy on here, and you're the black guy on here. I gotta be the black guy. You can't be the black guy. You know, like there's not room for too many black guys. You know, like one of those kind of things.
Why are you doing?
Because DJ has a very deep voice. He's like very manly. Like, hey, but I'm DJ.
Besides,
it's a man. I have a very hi everybody, and he's like, hey, everybody. You know, it's like one of those.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, you make him sound like a cartoon character.
Well, it's unfortunately. So DJ once again was like, yo, you know, I'm not gonna. Joe. Every time he's on, I don't like this, or I don't like that. I don't like this. It was always a critique concerning me, and it was like, okay.
Tea.
And you told me. I remember you told me, yeah, bring the tea out because it's about to. Oh man, go ahead and put a wet floor sign right now because I'm not spilling tea. I took the kettle and I just said fuck it. So that's what I'm doing right now. Be ready for it. It's no hold bars when I speak. No hold bars.
That's not necessarily true.
Well, I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, you're a very middle of the road guy.
I am a middle of the road guy, but look, if we're gonna talk about real things, I'm gonna talk about real things. The real me is on Instagram every once in a while. I don't know. So anyway, he didn't like me. I don't know what it was. I don't know what kind of petty BS it was, but he didn't like me, and it was always a critique over everything I did. So I remember telling you, I was like, well, and you were just like, look. I don't know what's going on, but he doesn't like you or he doesn't like what you do. I hate hearing it. Can you talk to him and get critiques from him? That's what you told me. Hey, you know, because if a teammate sees something in you that could be better, they'll vocalize it. And that's what he was doing to you, he said. So you were like, look, just talk to him. Let him vocalize it to you because I don't need to hear it. I thought you did well. He doesn't think you so talk to him. And that's how it was. We were very democratic at that time, you know.
You saying it sound like that now?
Well, no. Now we're like, you know what? Look, there's a producer, and the producer has an eye. Listen to the producer. That's how it works, and that's how it should work. I mean, that's a production. Hello, this is that hashtag show, a great and amazing nerd, geek, pop culture, you know, production. So, with that being the case, back then we were like, oh, we're still learning. So DJ said something. Go ahead and talk to him. I talked to him, and that was not the story. No, bro, I love everything you do. Whoa, this is great. Oh, you're doing amazing, blah, blah. And then after that, I go shoot something, and then it's like, oh, look, this is what I don't like about him. I'm just telling you right now. And they're like, wait, why are you telling him what you don't like? Talk to me. I'm right here. And then nothing. Ultimately, it kept going to an extent where fans were saying how great I was doing on stuff that he was saying I was still doing poor on, and it was like, well, then just stop listening to him. Just stop listening. You know, like, it's the rule of 10 where they say 3 people are going to hate it, 4 people are going to like it, and the remainder are just on the fence. You know? and it was like that was it. So just let it be what it is. And that's what you kept telling me. And I was like, all right, fine. And finally, ultimately...
Do you think... What do you think the root of the problem was, though?
I don't know if it was jealousy. I don't know if it was honestly trying to reach out to me, because we're really cool now.
How often do you talk?
Ooh.
Yeah, really cool, bro. Cool story, bro.
No, we're not like, we're best friends.
What does really cool mean to you, then?
Every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, I'll say that. Because it happens to be every time.
You talk to DJ every 2 weeks.
Because. I'll tell you because.
Show me your phone right now.
It's not my phone, but it is. I do a podcast, and he is a friend with someone who's on the podcast. And because of that, and then it's like I may walk, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? Oh, hey, I'm talking. Hey, what's going on? Blah, 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 yada, yada. Oh, that's great. Oh, you're living? I'm alive, too.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah, that's all. It's not a real cool conversation.
Cool story, bro. Speaking of podcasts, let's talk about people that have been unceremoniously let go here.
Woo!
Well, this is what this show's all about.
Wow.
I want to dig right into this.
Wow!
So,
Wow!
From what you know about a lot of your former cast members, is some have not left on the best of terms.
Yeah.
And I want to kind of get this out there because I do want to kind of talk about this a little bit. Where do you stand on this side of things?
What do you mean?
You said you took a kettle and you wanted to wipe it down.
Yeah. I was like, so where do I stand? What do you mean when you say what I stand?
So with said situation that happens with former cast members, where do you stand on the side of them departing prematurely and them and their feelings about it? Where do you stand, and what's your opinion on it?
Well,
you're living, I'm alive too. DDD cosplay.
I stand on that hashtag show. I mean, thank God I'm on air right now, right? But where do I stand as far as am I taking a side? I'm not choosing sides because it's not my battle, so there's no reason for me to choose.
But it involved you.
It involved me. Definitely did involve me in some ways indirect, and other ways definitely direct. But the thing is, with it, everyone's choice as far as parting ways is always what I feel still can sometimes be a choice. If someone says goodbye to you, if they're like, well, then goodbye to you, then you're like, well, it's not my choice. And if it isn't that person's choice, they can still make the choice to have a rebuttal or just say, well, then it's over. And it feels like most people, I guess some people recently have just said, okay, well, there's no rebuttal, and they walk away. My whole concern is that I just hope there's no malice between THS and any people that leave. But there have been people that have left. And
I want to talk about those people.
Yeah,
actually.
no, I'm saying, and there have been people that have left that have been like, well, I hate that hashtag show. And there are people that have left fairly recently that you would think they run to everyone and say how much they hate that hashtag show. But no, they have nothing even negative to say. And that's fairly recently for all the people that have recently left. They're like, well, I may have negative things or negative thoughts, but those are my thoughts. And that's not things I need to share. You know? I hope the hashtag show moves on. I hope it's blah, blah. And I'm like, great. That's professional. And that was more on that level.
Who do you think left on the worst terms?
Oh, names?
Yeah. Everybody else name drops. I mean, Jester literally said he didn't like working with, or he never wanted to work with Sarah. So he literally said that on his After Dark.
That's true. One name he didn't mention, though. I'll talk about that name later because I got something to say about that. I'll say what he can't say, I guess. This way that person would be mad at me. Whatever. I don't care. But, so... when it comes to those people that left, I got two people in my mind.
Go. Shoot.
Oh my. All right, fine. All right. Honestly, let's go in a row here. Number 3, coming in at number 3.
Oh wow, there's 3.
Yeah, that's right.
They said 2, but we have
Mike,
3.
No, Mike Hunt. It wasn't a bad departure actually. It was just like, but he really was like, dude, I still do like and love Power Rangers. Power Rangers. I like and love that hashtag show, but he understood why we needed to part. And
you want to say why?
No.
It's after. Hey, this is your spotlight.
No, I know, but
give the people what they want. They want to know the answers.
No, there was just drama. It was just drama, and we were like, all right, so we're gonna end our connection. Actually, it was because, dude, he was running late for stuff and wouldn't show up for stuff. He always would misschedule. Like,
That's
all right, here goes the
reason.
schedule, and then nope. But I'm give me an answer. I'm not giving him the real story because that's not my job. It's not my business.
This is your spotlight. You're
not about my business. Tell other people. Nope. So, but that was
all right.
that
So fine.
was
Mike Hung's one. Who's the second one?
Next one is I don't know. Well, she's a comedian now. Nana Bear, right?
Wait, you said
Nana
she
Bear.
wasn't a comedian.
Well, she says she's a comedian.
What do you say she is?
I don't know. I'm not a comedian, so I mean, I'm a humorist, but I'm not. A
so
comedian.
what is she?
Well, she's actually doing stand up. So you know what? She's a comedian. She's working.
It's not what
she's
you told me about a week ago.
No, I said she's not funny. That's what I said.
There you go.
I'm sorry, she's not funny, and I think women are hilarious. So I just don't think she's funny. Nope. But
what? And what was her departure reason?
Oh my God!
You're just not good.
Yeah, right. Ew, I wouldn't say drama, but I would say drama, but no, she's just not good.
You're just
no,
not
she
good.
Okay, honestly, we had issues where we would shoot, and our shoot would take so much longer. Our shoot would take so much longer than what we expected it to when it came.
All right, who's the number one? And I'm gonna ask why, so you better have a good story.
All right, fine. Oh man, I don't know if I can. Well, these are my words. These are my words. Gosh, I love her to death, but it was Jasmine.
Why?
Because it was more of a I don't see things the way you see things, and it became full-on arguments.
I don't, because I don't think one race is better than the other. So I don't see things the way you see things.
Well, I'm going for the particular things as far as in arguments. Like there was always an argument concerning you should be here. No, I should be here because I know what the fans need. And it was like, I understand that, but if the producer is saying this is what our fans need.
Wait, let me ask you something.
Do this.
Whoa.
Yeah?
That's what you really think that was the big reason?
Because honestly, if we're looking at it according to this is the moment where we have to say goodbye to you and we are actually parting ways, legally it was because look, you didn't show up to things that we need you to go to shoots. You would choose to take the footage and go shoot. You took the equipment, you took the okay for stuff to shoot something, and you went somewhere else when it was like, no, we need you here first.
Wait,
and
so
then
what you're saying, that's the reason?
It was insubordination, yes.
That's the reason.
That is the legal reason, am I right? Yes or no?
That's wrong.
Am I right? That was not it.
Well, that's a part of the reason, but that's not the reason.
Okay, all right, fine. So, one portion.
Story about the real reason, but
I'm not gonna do that, man. I'm not gonna do that.
The real reason is way worse than what you had just explained.
I can't go into that, man. But the night in which that everything happened was just so long as far as we're saying goodbye to you and we have to let you go. It became a big argument between. Well, I mean, that makes sense. Look, dude, if you're trying to fire me, we're going to have to figure out why you firing me. So it was like the same thing. She was like, we're going to figure out why you firing me. And it was like, we're going to have a talk until hopefully you're just blue in the face and you just say, fine, forget it.
Which did not happen.
You're still staying on. It's like, look, I'm clawing for it. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. But she didn't beg for a job after. But it was a long whole thing until ultimately everyone was insulted.
Wait, you said something interesting there. You said she didn't beg for a job after, but how about during?
Is it begging when you're like, look, I deserve this? No, please, you have to listen to me.
That's entitlement.
Like, well, if a person feels they do deserve something.
You have a very skewed vision of things.
No, I'm saying these were words she didn't say. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not asking you what she said. This is your After Dark, not hers. What I'm asking is from your opinion.
Okay, there was a moment where there was a definitely please, like, rethink this, please. You are not thinking clearly.
No. That's
please.
not the point.
I remember those words.
What I want to talk about more so is that the one lesson to take away from all this is that you just can't do things and expect not to have consequences.
Yes. Well, the thing is, honestly, when it comes to being talent in any level, you have to be able to understand that, you know what, you can't always call the shots. And yes, you may
Daniel
feel
does
that you
not
know
like
better.
spilling tea. He says he does, but he does not.
I'm saying you may feel that you know better than everyone, but the thing is, That's not your job. That's
Let's
not
get
your
into some
position.
real spilling tea incidents now.
All right, fine.
Now we have 13 current cast members at Hashtag Show.
Oh, boy.
Sarah's gone now, and she's been replaced by Tatiana. We have 13 of us
RIP.
all together. Now I
Yes.
really want to get your deep take and real
On
take
each person?
on each person, and but we're gonna do yours a little differently.
Oh, okay. All right.
You're gonna have to tell me where each one of these 13 people can improve.
Damn! I'm all about that tea. Let's do this. Let's do this.
So we're gonna start
All
with
right, I'm all
Corey.
about it. Oh, nice. Okay. All right, cool. Where's my Corey buddy? Where's Corey? We're gonna wait. Oh, there he is, right up there. I see him. I see him.
Tatiana's not
I
even
see him
on
up
here.
there. Well, other people will pop up as you point them out, but Corey's up there. So, with Corey,
There's somebody else missing too, and I have no idea. It's Jezzer. No, he's
Tatiana
there.
and
Whatever. I
someone
don't
else.
care. I'll figure it
All
out.
right. So Corey, with Corey, my suggestion for Corey, and I'm not perfect in any way, but what I do understand is that you have to be able to. Corey, actually, I feel that you're a very strong improviser, and you need to do that a whole lot more, especially when
L.
it comes to being on.
That's who it was.
L's missing. You need to be able to improvise more, which means flow with the punches and do what the audience is kind of leading towards.
Give me a fun Corey story.
Fun Corey story. We did. We played the. We did our own version of D&D.
That's true. Jezzer fell asleep.
Wow, exactly. While
That's
we
more
were
of a
doing
Jezzer story
the while
than
we
it
were
is a
doing the
Corey
more
story.
while we were doing the D&D, the thing is,
This
it
was
like-
live on air. If you want to go watch it.
It was. There's a moment we're playing the game and he pulls out a voice that I did not hear him do when we were doing stuff earlier.
And then Jezzer kept calling him Corey Yeehaw. the
Or
whole time.
yeah. But while we were doing it, and I forgot what moment it is, but I remember looking at it for like hours at one time, where it was like, he did the voice, and I'm sitting right next to him, and I go, like, I literally shocked myself, and I was like, who is that coming out of? Where's another person in the room? And it's Corey right there, and it was just like, I don't know what happened. I don't know where I was. I think I was kind of tired also, but it was just like, that was the best moment, and I was like, damn, this guy's a really good voiceover guy. And that's just a funny story about Corey.
All right, let's move on to our next. I'm gonna go ahead and let's go with Tatiana. She's brand new.
Tatiana, Tatiana, I've only worked with her once. But on that hashtag show, I've worked with her once. And for Tatiana, which I know she's already going to do, feel free to not agree with your co-host if that actually makes the conversation.
Wait, is
go
this coming
further.
from you?
Yeah.
What?
That's what I'm telling her. Feel free not to agree with your co-host. So this way, when you do have it, so this way it actually breeds more conversation. It breeds more interaction. So it's not just like, oh, I think this, and you're like, yeah, I agree.
Okay,
Well,
let's
now
get
we're
Daniel.
stopping.
What would you say to Daniel Jerome?
I actually play the nice guy, so I happen to be the. Yeah, I agree. But there are moments where I do disagree as
love you
well.
for that.
I do disagree as well.
He knows he's giving fucking self the same advice.
I play the nice guy and I say yes to everything. I am a yes man because what I'm playing off of Joe at moments.
Nah, I haven't been on the shows the last 2 weeks.
No, but okay, but see, the thing is, there are other shows where I am not agreeing with people. But the thing is, I feel that people sometimes they're like, oh, I can't disagree with Daniel. I'm just gonna agree with what he says because he's always happy. And I'm like, no. Say something opposite than me, and then it's like, so I'll try to say something opposite that I know that they're like, okay, they're like, oh, I love the new sonic screwdriver, so I'm just going like, I don't know, I'm kind of off on the sonic screwdriver.
All right, so we got
Or
Tatiana.
I
Tell me,
you know,
give me a Tatiana story. I don't know, what was that all about?
Tatiana. Okay, so we just had
Why are you rubbing your hands in a really strange
because
manner?
of sweat, and I was rubbing my hands
Okay.
in the sweat. So
It was like,
oh
I thought that was
God,
super villain mustache twirling,
so-
creepy.
What I did with Papa Tias. No, Tatiana, we just finished having ramen, and we just finished having ramen. We were just going to eat ramen, and so she was like, "Well, I'm not hungry," and I was like, what? But you're coming out with us and you're hanging out longer. You gotta eat. And she was like, no, I don't want to eat anything. And
This
I
was
was
last
like,
night, by the
yeah,
way.
it was last night. So I grab a bowl and I put it down and I was like, just put stuff in this bowl. Just eat. And she was like, but I don't want to. And I just started scooping out stuff from my bowl. And I was like, all right, eat this. How's that? All right, Johnny, what do you got over there? What do you got over there? And I just started leaning over to other people. And then everyone starts to see it and they're like, oh, well, here. Okay, here you go. Here you go. And we just start to give her. And she was so like, blown away, like, oh my God, you guys are just giving your food. And we're like, oh yeah. I mean, we're all here. It's like a kind of, when you're here, your family, you know? I don't know. But it was so funny.
The Olive Garden.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, the where?
The Olive Garden.
I don't know what that place is. I don't.
Yeah, you stole the slogan.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, we're going to move on to our next one. What about who's in the chat right now? No pressure, Johnny.
Johnny. Advice for Johnny? I don't know if I have too much.
If Johnny wasn't in the chat, he'd probably say something different. But Johnny is in the chat. So
I don't know if I have too much because the thing is, what we hear every once in a while from our producers lately is more energy, more energy. That's one thing they never say to Johnny. They never say more energy. Johnny's already here and he's giving the energy. And he does this. Only thing I will say, stop this.
What is that? You playing
Stop
the piano?
this.
What are you doing?
Yeah, that's what Johnny does when he speaks. You do this.
It
picks up on the mic and it drives Daniel insane. Remember, I was an audio engineer for a while, so I know how much it pisses someone
Johnny
off.
says, I will drive back down there.
Well, bring it. I'm looking for you, brother. I'm waiting for you right now.
Give me a good story about Johnny.
Johnny introduced me to tennis shoes, man. No joke. Like,
wait a minute.
Yo.
So when you were a kid, you weren't introduced to, would you wear sandals?
No. I wear tennis shoes, but wow, like look at these J's, dude. Oh my God, they cute. I feel like Wale. Like just showing my shoes, but like he introduced me to.
Would you wear Velcro shoes?
No, before I did
Transformers on them.
No, I would buy a Jordan, but I didn't care. I didn't care what year. No, I didn't care what year or what kind of Jordans they were. I would just buy them, but I would always wear Chucks, just basic Chucks.
That's what I wear.
Well, okay. I mean, Chucks are great, especially now. Nike owns them too. They feel a whole lot more comfortable, but. Johnny was like, dude, you know what? Because I've always loved the Air Force Ones, but I just never bought them. Johnny was like, dude, there's a whole culture of people that buy these, and then they trade them, and they're different colors, and they're this, and they're that. And I was like, get out of here. I'm following my Chucks. I got different colors than those. What does it matter for this? And then he was like, no, but they're what they call colorways, and you do this, and you can find this with this different color, and these are a rare catch. These are rare. So all of a sudden, I've never been a guy that collects
this is your fun story about Johnny?
Well, yeah, no, okay. Well, I've never been a collector of stuff. My fun story is hanging out with Johnny and, okay, we went to SneakerCon. I didn't know that was a thing. We went to SneakerCon, and there at SneakerCon, if there's any other way to show how much like the SneakerCon kind of world or the sneaker world is connected to like the urban culture, They had a basketball game inside of the place. They had a cookout in another spot. They had all this other. I think at one time they had a pool party where nobody got in the pool because black people don't get in the pool. So it was one of those things. And I was like, okay, all right, this was amazing. That's my story with John.
All right, we're going to move on to our next one real quick. Not real quick.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Elle, your co-host from the Retro Ranger Wrap-Up.
Elle's actually improving greatly. I don't know if I have anything for her, but I just remember the first time I met Elle was at a bar, and she was the bartender. Funny enough, she was a bartender that wouldn't drink shots with you when you're like, I want 2 shots of blah, blah. And then you say, all right. And you put the money down.
Speaking of drinks,
now
we're going to need some pretty soon, guy.
Yeah. And you tell her, now drink. And the thing is, she didn't drink with you. And when she told you the story of why she didn't drink with you, she was flicking me off. And she told me the reason why she didn't drink with you was because she's allergic to alcohol. And you were like, wait, I'm sorry. You work where? You do what? And you're what? Oh, how does this all work? And none of this makes sense. And every time I saw her, we'd have the same conversation because by the time I really started to speak to her, I was already like shit drunk. So I'd have the same conversation with her, like until the 5th time, till finally she was like, you know, we have this conversation every time. And I was like, really, we do? And then after that, I never had to have it again because I remembered it because it was awkward. So that's my funny story with Elle.
All right. Now we have, let's talk about the next one, Justin.
Justin.
Yeah, you know, the guy that's on Henshin Hangout.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything for Justin. Justin has an amazing radio voice. He is quick. He knows how to fill, knows how to stretch. There's nothing wrong with Justin. Funny story with Justin, I am just a fan of Shiny Yusha, but his podcast, actually, I'm sorry, the whole Spielberg podcast, before I met him, I was a fan of that podcast, but it was like, oh, that's the guy. Now it all makes sense. I get it. Oh, geez. And he kind of now, when you look at him, you're like, oh, he does look like how he sounds. Like, there's not so many people in the world that actually look the way they sound.
Well, the girl sitting behind you at the Halloween movie last night looked exactly how I thought they were going to sound. Let's move on to our next one. I'm talking about Migdalia.
Is it, how much did you put in? No, we don't have none. Oh, you don't. Okay.
You got any advice there?
Pass? No, that...
You can't pass.
Okay, all right. Well, for Migdalia. Wow, that picture. That's a cute picture, actually. Ooh. For Migdalia, I would say... Oh my gosh, she's gonna watch.
You're literally having a...
Yeah, I am. I am like... Oh, Lordy, I feel like a... Like John.
Get on with it now. Like, talk to... Chat me up about Migdalia. What's your word of advice?
Word of advice for Migdalia. Make yourself more accessible to the fans when you're on air.
What do you mean by that exactly?
Well, the thing is, when you're speaking, if you're a person that you come into the show as the person that doesn't like the show, I say stick with that. But let the other people know.
That was Jezza earlier today. He was having a little conniption over there. I heard him from the couch over there.
No, but I would say let the other people know, all right, look, you know what? I don't like this show. I love the show we do. I don't like this show, so I'm going to be that person that says I don't like the show. That means you're going to really have to be the person that likes the show, and we can have a conversation about it.
So give me a fun story.
A fun story with me. So I wasn't even there, but
Jezza was.
There was a moment where everyone went to karaoke. It was a ridiculous night. Music's loud, blaring, and it's amazing. At one moment during karaoke, the woman leans over that's serving everyone drinks and says, like, does anyone own this kind of car? And everyone's enjoying themselves so much and being
why couldn't Migdalia hear that?
Someone was yelling.
Who's that someone?
Well, that's Jesser.
You got a super chat.
That's
Larry Newell says squat up.
Squat up! All right, so with that being, I feel invigorated now. So that was Jesser. He's gonna stop producing this in a moment. Watch. And Jesser said, right, he's gonna come and leap at me in a second. But Jesser was yelling like something. I don't know. What was it? What was he yelling?
Peter Griffin. Peter Griffin. That's all I heard all night long from that.
There was a guy there in the bar that looked like Peter Griffin. You can't blame him for being excited about the fact that the guy looks like Peter Griffin.
But he was a good singer. But he did look like Peter Griffin.
See, there you go. Well then,
but that's all he kept saying. Peter Griffin's gonna sing.
So he was saying that, but I don't think he sounded like that.
He did, like a little troll.
So he keeps yelling that, and unfortunately, she wasn't able to hear the lady. So then after that, she comes out at the end of the night. Everybody's ready to go home.
We're laughing at this misfortune, but it was pretty funny.
Where's my car? Where's my car? And this one. Oh, man, that's horrible. Yeah, and as he's slowly speaking to her and taking steps back.
No, that's not what happened.
But
Toku, you got another super chat. Jesser pulled a cookie face, LOL.
Oh, jeez. But, so unfortunately, her car got towed. Now,
what happened is that she told us she was crying. Johnny,
that part I wasn't.
Johnny was one of the first nights out with us. He comes up to me, and we're all standing there, and he goes, "Hey, you should talk to her." And I looked at him, and I go, "I'm not qualified to do that." And then he's like, "No, you should be the one to talk to her." I was like, "Trust me, I'm gonna make things worse. You should not have me talk to her." And then I went over there, and then I got on the phone. I talked to the tow truck person, and he was like,
"Oh, that was probably the worst thing ever."
And then Johnny was like, "Yeah, you're right. You should not have been the one to talk to the fucking tow truck guy."
Now the tow truck guy was like, "It was 100. Now it's 5." He was like, "Wait, what? How did the price go up when Joe finished speaking?"
It was
That's
bad.
Joe.
No. It was fine. I mean, I just finagled our way. We got
the funny story was just how she was distracted. And she walked out like, "Hey, dude, where's my car? Where's my car, dude? Where's my car? Where's your car, dude?"
She immediately blamed Jezzer for
and
yelling
then
at her
immediately
the whole
blamed
night.
him because it was true.
And Jezzer just left. He didn't even stay with us. He just left.
Everyone usually leaves.
No, it was
really quick.
Yumi and Johnny that took her to the. I think it was like Yumi and Johnny that took her to the impound.
Jeez,
Jezzer was long
man.
gone, being like, "See you later."
No, because it was.
See you later. Hope you get the car, see?
Everyone leaves at the end of the night. Like, all right, bye. But we were still there. We walked out one way. He parked another way.
All right, that's enough for McDonald. Let's move on to the next. Let's go with me.
Oh man, words of advice for Joe. Is there such a thing as words of advice for Joe?
Yeah.
Is there such a thing? I don't know. I mean, because you could say, "Hey, Joe, don't be the rock on this thing today."
I don't think I'm the rock on anything.
The alpha male, the guy that's like there. You're not like the rock, super dick rock. You're like the rock that's funny. You're not the dick rock. You're the funny rock. So with that being the case, it's just like, how do you tell someone, "Hey, stop being box office gold"? That's
No,
that's
I have a very
I don't know
specific way I feel about certain things and certain people. I do know that.
Okay, all right. But so the thing is, I will say, "Hey Joe, maybe you may wanna put on kid gloves at moments."
Why?
See, you can't talk to him.
I don't understand the whole image of talking to certain people a certain way when you can talk to other people another way.
Well, very true. But the thing is, to do that, then you're like, I don't want to talk to this person that way. Send them away, or what are you gonna do? What
is that? I'm not. This isn't a royal guard, and I don't just send people away.
Because since you can't do that, that's where it's like, well, what do they say? More flies with honey.
Here's my opinion on this. So a lot of people that don't know this, I have to make a lot of decisions here, but I don't like having to deal with it. So I'll have other people listen. If it's something that has to get to me, then I'll deal with it. But most times, I feel like it should be dealt with internally.
Well, very true.
It's some of the dumbest things I just don't have to deal with. I mean, they are.
True. That's very true. There have been moments where it's like, really, is this what we're gonna deal with?
Like, listen, I had to deal with this earlier on with a former cast member and somebody that's still currently here, both women. And it was just kind of like, seriously, like this is what I have to like get involved in.
Oh, that's true.
And they're both exactly the same. Anyway, all right. So what funny story? Give us a good story.
You?
Yeah.
There's millions of funny stories with Joe.
We just give us one.
All right, fine. So we're walking out of a bar in Hermosa.
There's one. I was gonna kick the cop. I knew it.
Oh man!
I knew that was gonna be the story.
That's like a good one.
Yeah, all right, you could tell it. I mean, I'm sure everybody already knows it, though.
Oh, man.
Or maybe they don't. I don't know.
I don't know. Do they?
Tell it. You can tell it.
So, all right. So, we're walking out of the bar, and we're looking to literally just walk from the bar across the promenade to our cars. That was it. Cops are outside, and they're just, I don't know, hemming up people. Hey, what's all you doing here? All right, you're fine. Like stopping people. So, I don't know how you and the cop crossed the path directly, but somehow they end up crossing paths, and the cop is really just kind of bugging us at this point. We're like, okay, what do you need? We're gonna go to our car, and so the cop keeps bugging Joe, and Joe's like, all right, fine. What did you say? I will drop you? Did you say or something like that? Or
I don't know what I said.
The cop said something to the extent of like,
I said something about giving some sweet chin music.
Yeah, that was it. So
that's what I do remember.
The cop just keeps, like, essentially talking trash in a way where it was like, well, what are you doing here tonight? You just saw us fucking leave out of a freaking bar. What do you mean, what are we doing here tonight? And we're like, officer, we're going to go home. We're headed home. All right, well, is he driving? No, he's not actually driving. I'm driving. We're going to go. Oh, okay. Well, he looks like he may be, inebriated or whatever. And Joe was like, this guy needs some sweet chin music. And I was like, oh, hey, oh. And Joe, excuse me. And Joe's like, no, I think you know what? I know what you need. And Joe starts, you do the wrap up. He does the wrap up. It's 3. He hits 3. After you hit 3, that leg is going to come up.
So first, before this even happened, I gave sweet chin music to our buddy Steve.
Yes!
Because he was just standing there, his glasses flying off.
Dude.
And it's one of Lori's friends. Or it's one of Elle's friends, sorry.
Because we mess around like that, man. You better be ready. And also,
So I kicked him in the face. And
he gives you the warning. It's 1, 2, 3, and then here comes the kick. Everybody does something. We all have the spinneroonie is one. Everyone has something. So
I kicked the dude in his face. His glasses fly off, and then I was gonna do the same thing to the cop, and they were like, "Don't kick him! Don't kick him in the face!"
Come on, Joe. Let's go. Let's go. He's like, all right, let's go. I was gonna drop him like a sack of dirt. Remember that?
Drop you like a sack of dirt. All right, so let's get to Roe.
Roe. I don't know. Roe's controversial, but I was gonna say if I had to do this before I just recently did Riverdale, I would have said, well, Roe, slow down. You don't have to be controversial to always sell a story or sell you. Roe is a freaking master at stuff because on Riverdale, Roe knew because I was so concerned. Remember, I told you. I was like, dude, if there isn't a woman like to interact with on this, it's too much. It's too masculine. It's just like, too much masculine energy. We need something to kind of make sure that we are leveled when it comes to talking about Riverdale, so that there's more inclusion.
You scream masculinity.
Well, exactly. So, but immediately, Roe knew not to be. I don't have to be controversial. I'm going to talk about the show because I'm a fan, and that's exactly what happened. So I was like, dude. And, like, there's a phrase where they say, you give good TV. And that's exactly what he did. It was a great episode. And it was just, like, a pleasure to do.
Give me a Roe story.
Roe. We had a cast member named Sarah. You guys remember Sarah? R.I.P. Sarah. So
She didn't die.
Well, and she's not here. I just say R.I.P. for everyone. So, Sarah and Roe. Sarah... Ro knows that Sarah's a Backstreet Boy fan, and Ro immediately sits down at the table for a little bit, and he's like, so NSYNC's always been better than Backstreet Boys. Backstreet Boys is shit. He just says this, and immediately she's like, wow! And then they go into a back and forth. It was so beautiful, and Ro was like, I just wanted to do it. Who cares? And that was it. And it was so great, and it was just so funny to see that Ro was like, just because I just wanted to do it. That's my funny story with Ro.
Okay, let's go on to our next. Let's go to Jessica.
Ooh, Jess. I don't have any suggestions for Jess.
I'm getting a lot of I don't have any suggestions.
No, I don't because it's hard for me to give one. I don't really work with Jess in that capacity.
You see her enough, though.
Yeah, I see her enough. But I see the finished product, and then I see her as a person. I don't know what happens in between. I don't know if she takes too long to read on a prompter, or if she does this, or if she does that. I have no idea, so I have no suggestions for Jess.
Okay,
because I've worked with
give me a good story.
So, Jess was with us when we went to buy tacos for the taco challenge.
Yeah, I remember that.
But she left after. And we were buying stuff for the taco challenge. We went to like 3 different places. And I love the fact that Jess, not at all did she complain or ask, where are we going? We just said, hey, we're going to go get tacos. Let's go. And Jess was just, okay. And she just jumped in the car. And we went to 1 place. Couldn't get them there. 2 places. Couldn't get them there. 3 places. Couldn't get them there. 4 places. And she had to be somewhere. And she was like, okay, whatever. And she's so chill. And I was like, I don't know if Jess is losing a job today. I have no idea. And Jess was like, I doubt I will.
She's ride or die.
Yeah. And that's just a funny story about Jess. It's just like, Jess is down for whatever, man.
Let's go with probably the most controversial figure at hashtag show, Jezzer.
Suggestions for Jezzer.
Growing can't be one of them.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man. On-screen suggestions for Jezzer.
Let's give him some love advice instead. How about that? Just kidding.
Oh, no. On-screen advice for Jezzer. Enjoy yourself. Sit back.
How can you enjoy yourself when you're stuck watching shitty shows like
Let me finish.
That was an argument they were having behind the scenes that nobody knows about.
God damn
I heard it from the couch. I just heard it. I heard it when I was over there. I was like, "What are they talking about over there?"
Oh my god, Jezzer! No, honestly, enjoy yourself, man. Realize that in one way, this is something.
Super chat. Larry says,
"Oh
it's
my god!"
Blessing. Hey, it's come in. It's a blessing meeting you guys, Larry. You're awesome too. He was great.
Hey, great. Thank you, and we do appreciate it. It was a blessing for us to even be connected to you in any way, and we appreciate it. again, doesn't enjoy yourself when you do anything when it comes to hashtag, because you can be anywhere else in the world today, but you chose to be here with us. And besides that's just a phrase and I love it, dude. But no, the truth is, besides that, the thing is, you really think about it that way. You could just be sitting at home, not doing anything.
That's your advice for him?
No.
I said, give me your advice. You're giving me this diatribe.
I am giving you the advice.
Give me advice.
Once again, enjoy what you do. Understand and appreciate what you do. Because the thing is, there are so many people that would love to do exactly what you do. And you do it well.
Be an accountant for the Army?
So, you see how he's trying? I'm trying to tell you, man. Just, once again, really figure out the fact that, you know what? Hey, there are so many people that could do what I do. This is the one way, an outlet for me. And two, it's something I do enjoy doing. I do enjoy hanging out with people. Let me remember that. Because what brought you in...
You have better advice than that.
No, let me finish. What brought you in can also be strong enough to keep you. But you have to remember why it brought you in.
That's your advice.
That's the thing I would suggest. He understands and he knows exactly what I mean.
That's your advice.
Yeah, yep.
That's
my
what you're
advice.
Gonna tell him.
It's my advice.
That's what you're going to tell him.
I just did. I just looked at the camera and told him.
I don't like that.
You don't like it.
Because that's not your advice to him.
That is my advice.
That's not.
Oh, you mean...
No.
That's
not your advice.
What's my advice?
Your advice went a little bit more like this. Something along the lines of, you get chosen to do things because you're good at them, not because you're anybody's friend.
Oh my God. Okay, yes. I'm sorry, I did forget about that. You're right. That literally is my phrase. No, that's true. The thing is, from what I understand, there was a moment where you were concerned that you were where you are because you're a friend of someone.
Said that.
But the thing is, that's not the case. If that was the case, you wouldn't have a fanship where people are like the Cookie Army.
How dare you mock him and just call it the Cookie Army? It's the Cookie Face Army.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Cookie Face Army.
The Cookie Army.
I'm sorry.
The fuck's it, Miss Fields here? It's a Cookie Face Army, damn it.
I want a cookie so bad. So bad. But you got the Cookie Face Army, like literally, and that's strong behind you. People love to hear what you're saying. People love to know what you're doing. They pay attention to you, and you have seen it as far as your Instagram growth. You've seen it as far as your social media growth. And now your extension as far as where your hand goes. You're on camera now because you do well. And you'll be on camera a whole lot more because you continue to do well. So do well.
All right, let's move on to our next. Maverick.
I barely see you on much, and I need to see you on a lot more. If you are available, we want you to do a whole lot more stuff, or at least I do, because I want to be always able to point to the fact that, hey, there goes Maverick. That's what I want. I know you're crazy busy, but please try to make yourself more available to be on more stuff, because there are people that actually enjoy seeing
Fun Maverick story.
Fun Maverick story was we were doing this show called Milk and Bullets and Milk. It was a Westworld show, and she had her notes. And on her notes, but you said this already. Shoot, you said this on her episode.
Oh, that's not the one I thought you were going to go with.
Oh, which one did you think?
I want it that way.
Oh my God! So we were shooting Bullets and Milk, and we were on location at producer Josh's place.
Well, when he had a place, he lives in a box now.
Oh, dang, dude! I tried. Oh God! So before he was in his big box, we're shooting there, and Joe has a challenge to do, which is for a Power Ranger kind of Ranger Nation thing, and it was a lip sync challenge. So Joe was like, "I'm gonna do I Want It That Way." So we're all there, and Joe's like, "We're gonna make it a big group thing," and so he starts doing it, and it becomes so, like, everyone loved it so much that they requested other voiceover stuff.
Well, her and I did another one that never aired, actually.
A Whole New World.
A Whole New World.
And then that was taken away. That was put down, though, right?
Yeah, because
they were like, oh, you use the... I don't understand how just doing the vocals according to the instrumental, and they were like, oh, we found it, and that's like they literally had the algorithm to hear it, and they were like, nope. Can't do that. You're gonna make money off of this. And it was like, what?
Did we run through everybody? Who am I missing? L? Did I say
Kelly?
Kelly.
Oh. Kelly?
No, Kelly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't be so sensitive concerning what any fan says about you.
Fans?
Yeah, any fan says about you. I don't care what fan it is. They're not on the air. You are. And the thing is, you're on here because you're that good. You can't sit here and take one person's criticism and worry about it. Not everyone else thinks that way, and you shouldn't think that way.
You know, I wish I would have gotten the chance to ask you this before, or ask other of my cast members, our cast members, this before. But rumor has it that there's a split within our cast amongst cliques, and almost kind of like who they hang out with.
Oh, that's true.
If you had to split who's in what group, what faction, split it up for me.
You're just trying to get me in trouble. Like, you really... I'm trying to navigate so well, and he is trying to put me right in it, right?
Split it up.
Oh, my God. All right, fine. Let's do this. Splitting up people into fractions.
So you have 13 cast members, split them all up.
It's hard to do it because some people are in other portions or other the producers have just left. That's other people are in so many people are sharing pieces and identities in different factions though. So it's weird because Maverick's really busy lately, so I don't even know if I can put her in one because it's like she's like, all right, I'm here, but I gotta go. Same thing for Jess. I mean, dude,
I disagree.
The woman is engaged.
I feel like there's a definite click between me, Maverick, Jessica, and Ro.
See, I would say that, but the thing is, Maverick and Jess are always so busy as of late.
But I probably see Jessica more than...
Yes, you do.
Well, I think a few of us. Daniel Nagami.
But that can be
Josh.
said that you see a lot of people more than everyone else. Like, you do have to connect with a lot of us.
But
the thing is, would I say well? That's one. If you want to put it that way, our as they say, yeah, it's definitely a trap. If somebody can put that on the screen, just like it's a trap. But our late night news team, like our action news team, which is you, Maverick, Ro. That's our late night news team. That's like all right. That's one. But then there's the Illuminati, and you're part of that also.
That's just me though.
Oh, really?
It's just me.
This interview's over.
Don't you have your Battlestar Galactica?
No, yeah.
Doesn't he have his cookie face army?
I'm part of many factions.
If we're talking factions, you breaking it down. What factions hang out with each other? Because I think a lot of not misconception, a lot of ways that people kind of view us is like. Either they view us as all as individuals or they view us all as a team. Mm-hmm. I don't think we're either one of those.
No,
but
we're pockets, man. I mean, it's just like any group that you have, like, okay, in high school or whatever, like, oh, there's a breakfast club, but yet even in the breakfast club, there were little bits and clicks inside of the breakfast club.
So break it down. Who's in what groups? Why is it so
hard
difficult?
To do it.
No,
it's hard because, once again, no, I'm telling you, it definitely is.
Hard.
No, because, like I said, there's the Illuminati. There's Joe, Jezzer, Daniel, and then intermittently there's other people that pop in and out of it. But, like...
This is what you call a fucking sidestep.
No, I'm not.
This is what
I'm
you're
answering.
doing is a
I'm
sidestep.
answering and literally listing people... You said go ahead.
So you're not going to answer the
questions.
questions while you're telling me.
I just named names and listed people. I'm still going with the list.
Okay.
I was a guide. Like he's like, all right, well here's the answer. Blah. That's not the answer.
Go.
God.
What's the answer then?
Then there's also people that hang out and like to do things like brunch, which Joe apparently doesn't do because he's afraid of. He's allergic to the sun or something like that. I don't know, like,
you guys are lame, and I don't like hanging out with those people. What do you want me to say?
See, once again, so there's too many groups. It's hard for me to go ahead and break down factions like that because it's like.
So you're not going to answer the question.
I'm in that one too. I just did answer the question. It's not the answer that you want.
The answer. That's not an answer.
Look, is it over or not?
I said,
oh my God,
break down the groups,
and
you say you're giving me a lot of runaround excuses. So you're not going to do it, is what you're saying.
I tried. I can't. I guess.
See, you can or you don't want to.
I can't.
You can't.
I can't.
I don't agree with that. No, he's not being open with you guys.
What are you guys talking about? Oh my God. Well, Joe, maybe you should.
I can easily do it. I don't have a problem doing that.
I just don't know. I'm telling you. Go ahead. All right. Well, let me have examples, and then I'll see if I can take over.
LOL, you mentioned no one.
What do you mean?
That's
oh my
Johnny
God!
Parker.
What?
That's coming from your
Johnny,
classmate, Johnny Parker.
I just said that we have the Action News team. That's 4, and then after that, I said the Illuminati with myself, Joe, Jezer, and then every once in a while someone else in and out. And then after that, we have the brunch people, which Joe is not part of, and then that's a big, large group. And there are people that are on cast who aren't also cast on that because. Hey, I just wanted to have brunch, and I don't care who else wants to come along.
According to one of our producers, you do care who doesn't come along.
Oh, man, that's true. One of our producers got, like, so in his feelings about it.
So
like,
why do you think Junior is so sensitive?
Oh, my God, I don't know why.
What?
I don't know why. Oh, he said his name. He's going to be fine. No, but I don't know why. He just was like, hey, what happened? But he's not really in his feelings. It was just a joke. He was playing along with
Toku
Joker.
says you literally be circling the question, mentioning team name, but no names.
So Daniel, Joe, and Jezer don't count as names. Joe, Jessica, Maverick, and Ro don't count as names.
Does this make you is this an uncomfortable subject for you?
I am not uncomfortable when I'm literally saying the names, and yet apparently you guys aren't hearing the names. There may be something wrong with you. I'm just saying at this point. But I said the names. That's why I'm like, I don't get it.
Hey, man.
No, you just wanted some controversy.
No. Yeah, of course. It's an entertaining show. Johnny says, say some names. Who's in the brunch crew?
Oh, in the brunch crew. Okay. So it's Miggy, myself, Tony. See, once again, I can't do this.
Nobody knows who Tony is.
Once again, Keith. No one knows who that is.
So pretty much you,
Jezer,
Migdalia, and Jezer.
Me, Migdalia, Jezer, and
Johnny.
Johnny. Yes. Me, Migdalia, Jezer, and Johnny. We are the brunch crew because Joe thinks that he's better than us.
I do.
So
that's why we're called the Elite. It's me, Jessica, Ro, and Maverick. I'm not afraid
oh
to say
my God!
that.
See that? See? So
being the Elite,
everyone's
Elite.
in different. People are in different cliques in different groups.
He hates it because you have no sense of entertainment, Daniel Nagami. Let's just be honest with it, straight up. But
oh, come on!
It's called building brands, guys. That's what we do here.
The Elite.
Sorry, hey, pulling the curtain back. Maybe I should get my own After Dark. Maybe I should just interview myself on a spotlight.
No, I think people should be able to ask questions and somebody will moderate it.
What it's called is fucking entertainment, people. That's why you tune in. Speaking of tuning
just vote me for the moderator, and then you guys can have the whole.
Why? You're gonna dance around everything?
No, I'll be able to ask you questions just like that.
I know. I'm not afraid to answer.
I didn't dance around it. I answered it. I gave names.
You
Did I just not give names to the brunch crew? Did I not just give names to the elites? Did I not give names to the Illuminati? I gave names.
You gave names. Okay.
I name names.
All right. So let's talk about controversy for a second. So there's a former cast member that got let go.
Oh, I thought we were gonna go back and okay.
Who is a higher upside?
Higher upside.
I'm not going to make you answer
like,
that.
What?
I'm not going to make you
answer
answer
that. I'm sorry?
What I do want to ask you, though, is your love of Power Rangers. When did you drop off? It happens with everybody.
High school. High school dropped off completely. Boom. I was too busy trying to be popular, too busy trying to be cool, too busy trying to pay attention to my grades. So I was like, man, that's it for that. And Power Rangers just let go. And it wasn't cool to continue to like Power Rangers at that time. If you were someone like that and you said it, they would beat you up.
Okay, so we have a lot of fans in the chat. I'm going to ask you, who is your personal favorite?
Ranger?
Got to choose one.
Oh, fans?
Yeah, it's like choosing your favorite
man,
child.
dude. If I had to pick my personal favorite fan, I'm going to go for me. Right here,
That's
baby.
a selfish answer.
That's right. That's selfish. I'm my
You're
number
not
one
in the
fan.
chat, though.
I'm my number one fan.
You're not in the
I'll
chat.
get in the chat right
So-
now.
So if you had to choose somebody,
who's in the chat?
not in the chat right now, but just in the chat,
Not in the chat, but in the chat.
that you see normally, who are you choosing? You can choose anybody that's in there now.
Oh my god! You know who I love right now at the moment? Toku Kid, man.
There you go.
You are a champ. I love the way he turned around and got my soundbite and was like, boom.
Who's your least favorite
Toku,
in
you're
the chat?
great.
And
My
normally-
least favorite in the chat. I don't think I have a least favorite.
Oh, yeah?
But
That's
I
not
will
what I
say,
hear every week to
Blackwing,
week.
stop bumping your gums, man. Stop bumping your gums.
Oh.
All right. Listen to me.
That's coming
Trust
from
me.
the future.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Trust me. I'm looking in a mirror, man. Stop bumping your gums. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Let's talk about this for a second.
Continue to tell us exactly what you don't like. 'Cause
Give me
if
your
you tell us
real
what you like
opinion
all
on
the
the new
time, it's
Doctor.
I love the new Doctor. Actually, I'm mad at the fact that there were so many chauvinist pigs that were like, "Oh, well, we're not gonna like her because," and you couldn't admit why you didn't like her. Truth is, you were just afraid of the fact that it was gonna be a woman in a stage in a seat of power, and you were freaked out by it. Like, F you, dude. If you can't deal with that because you got a small penis or whatever your situation is, go deal with that somewhere else. Let her be exactly who she needs to be. We've had our moment. Go ahead and let somebody else have their moment. It's not a big deal. Enjoy the show. The Doctor is a character. The Doctor is an ideal. It's not actually just always physically something.
Who's your least favorite cast member to work with? I know that sounds like a controversial question. However,
I'm trying to
Jezzer answered it.
I'm trying to think. No, I'm thinking.
Who is Jezzer's? I already know. And then she got let go because Jezzer said that. But
wow,
I'm just kidding.
Don't say that.
He was like, "Oh my god."
I'm trying to think. All right. I know the 13. Do I have a least? Well, if I have to pick a least,
no, you have to pick a least.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking. If I have to pick a least, shoot, no, because that's not true. No, damn, because now I was gonna say Ro because I haven't worked with him so long, but now I just recently did, and I'm like, damn, I loved it. So, shoot.
Let's say it on three. I know who you're gonna pick. Ready? I know you're gonna pick. Ready?
Oh, I know. Okay, no, I don't know.
Yeah, you ready?
Okay, yes, I do know.
Ready? One, two, three.
Corey.
All right,
Yeah, that was it. Because I at least work with Corey. I haven't actually worked with Corey except for that one time for the game. So I know nothing about him. Haven't really worked with him. So least favorite? Yeah, you're the least favorite.
You got another super
Everyone
chat.
else is up and up.
Worst project you... worst project you did and best project you did for Hashtag Show.
Oh, jeez.
That's from Token
One of
Kid.
my favorite projects still to this day. I don't know if it's my best. One of my favorites was down in San Diego. We went for one day.
That was
just
fun.
to do that Marvel experience.
It's funny because you said that and I was thinking that one.
Yeah, that was like my favorite one. I won't say it's my best, but it was my favorite.
It was a lot of fun.
It was my favorite because it was so fun.
So you, me, and JD.
Yeah, and then remember we even worked it out where it was like you still got to be in it, and it was like, oh man, I loved it, and it was great because I learned a lot concerning how to interview. What to do?
Because
what to do when
used to
things
do
are
this
wrong.
thing where he would start like on the same plane as them.
Yeah,
and then
it was
slowly
so
as the
weird.
interview would go, he would turn his back
Yeah,
to the camera.
like it would start like this, and I'm like blah blah yada yada.
To the point where his back was fully.
Would go like this. All of a sudden, they're like, so tell me more. Oh, that's amazing. And they're facing this way. Wow, that's crazy. That's how weird it was. So, and then I learned how to do a whole lot more.
What was your least favorite?
My least favorite.
The taco eating challenge.
I was gonna say it because it's true. I think my body still has never recovered from that. Congratulations, Joe. You are part of the reason for my obesity.
I didn't win.
That's
I did beat you in the 50 nugget challenge, though.
Oh my god! I should have sent that picture. Oh my gosh, that was horrible.
I didn't win. I didn't win that. Oh yeah. What about the Luke Cage video that you and DJ shot?
Oh shoot! I actually liked the way it came out, but that was something I didn't like.
Why?
You're right.
You did not like it? I was gonna say liked.
No, that was the one that I liked the way it came out, but I didn't like it at moments because DJ was trying to do the snide under thing of like, oh no, like I'm standing right next to him and I just finished saying my lines. He's like, really good, and then he turned over like we're not in the same room. I don't know, man. I just didn't like it. And I'm like, I'm right here.
That was a long shoot.
I'm right here.
Yeah, it's like 3 in the morning.
Yeah,
3:30 in the morning, something like that.
I'm like, I'm right here. And then we just kept listening to him. And then finally, to the point where our producer Josh was like, look, I liked it. Did you like it? Then we're all okay. And then we just said that was it. And it was like, we should have done this a long time ago. Where it was like, why are we listening? And that's where I think we learned also in some other ways. We were already learning. But it was like, your talent, you're not the production team. Production team has the eye. That's why they're the production team. So we have to listen to what the production team says should go out. Now, yes, we will listen to you and take your opinions into, like, make sure it's valid, but it's not always the thing that's going to make us continue or stop or blah, blah.
Shoot interview here.
It was interesting. It was like we learned a lot.
But you and DJ are fine now, so it's all
Dude,
good.
yeah. Like now, he'll see stuff, and he'll tell me, I didn't like when you did this. I think you should have done this. And it was like, now we know how to communicate with each other. And it was like, if you tell me you don't like something, give me something to replace it with. Just don't tell me you don't like it. That makes no sense. So yeah, now we're good.
Big legend here at Hashtag Show is about the story you shit yourself. Why don't you share that one with us?
Well, so we're having a drinking game, and of course, Joe, being the great friend he is, Great friend right there.
Wait a minute.
Joe cheers me on.
No.
I continue to tell people I can know. Who's telling the story here?
Wait, time out.
Wow, you're interrupting me while telling the story. Oh my god.
That's not how it went down though.
Oh my god. Whoa.
Tell your version of the story. Because that's not how it went. That's not how it happened.
So
you hyped yourself up.
I
did.
Let me finish telling the story. I said, so Joe, being the friend he is, was definitely there to back me up and telling me I'm doing a great job. As I kept saying, I can do more. You see? Let me finish.
That's true.
Let me finish. So I was like, I can do more. And Joe's like, yeah, I have seen him go for more, which is true. So
I was getting worried,
it was sangria, and we're going.
And it's sangria. It wasn't like a big deal.
But apparently sangria is a big deal.
Well,
looked it up later, and it says actually maybe you want to calm down when it comes to drinking a lot of sangria. But I didn't know that at the time. And I kept drinking. We're playing drinking games and all these other things and Irish poker. There was a moment where I said, maybe I should stop. And I said,
you didn't say that.
Push through.
Yeah, no,
I said, push through. And I kept going. And Joe was like, hey, I'm not going to let my boy feel like an idiot. My boy says he can go. My boy can go. And everyone else around was like, I don't know if this is good anymore.
We're like, you should probably stop at this point.
You should probably stop. I'm fine. I'm fine.
No, I'm good. I'm good. And like, Joe, I'm good. I was like,
right. Joe was like, I'm okay. Daniel, this is alcohol poisoning. I think he said something around that level by the time I blacked out. And so I black out.
He didn't black out
but
yet.
Not yet. But I do black out. But ultimately, so I realize that I'm going to throw up. I do. I'm thinking, okay, guys, I'm like Spider-Man with the spider sense.
Let's hold on. Let's set the tone because there's like four of us.
Okay, there's four of us.
It's JD, JD, one of our producers, our other friend Chris, and then I was on the opposite side of Daniel, and then it was like
no, you were right here. I'm here. Joe was here. Chris was there, and JD was there. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, all right, I feel it coming. And I'm like, I feel it coming, like the weekend. And I'm looking around like, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? The bathroom is so many meters, and I'm not going to be able to make it. I look around, and I'm trying to find, there's a trash can over there, but there's no way I'm going to be able to dash over the table and go to that. Joe's cup is half full. Mine is half full. I'm going to throw up in Joe's cup and then finish up in mine. That's exactly what's going to happen. And the Mission Impossible mission starts now. And I reach for Joe's cup, and it's in slow motion. I'm doing so well. I grab Joe's cup. Like, it's violent regurgitation. I am leaving the seat when I'm throwing up. That's how much I'm being propelled. And then I stop myself. This is magical at this moment. I stop myself. Put Joe's cup back in front of him. Pick up my own.
Like I was going to continue to drink out of it.
And then continue to throw up in mine. And then stop because I don't want it to overflow, but I got a little bit over. And I put it down. And Joe, by this time, being a good guy he is, quick, got the trash can, brought it over, put it in my lap, and I throw up. And I continue to throw up in a trash can. And so they're seeing me throw up in a trash can. They realize, like, man, okay, we're going to need to get water. We're going to need to take care of him. Daniel, just finish right here. And they leave me there to finish. And they get up and they walk because cars are parked and there's barely any parking space. And it's right up the block. So they get up and they walk to the 7-Eleven. And while they walk to the 7-Eleven, I'm throwing up. And it's still happening. Right? yes, just like that. You're a like, it's horrible. And once again, I'm still throwing up and like being heaving, and it's a horrible situation. And so they come back. And they come back and they're like, man, Daniel really...
This is hours later, by the way.
What's that smell? Because they've given me water by this point, and I'm just passed out holding on to the trash can. They've already emptied out the trash can, given me water, and let me hold on to the trash can. So I'm holding on for dear life, just petting it like this is my only friend.
Got on the super chat. Toku says, "Is there been a stream you thought is going to be bad?" Wait, is there been a stream you thought this is going to be bad? We'll get to that.
No, we'll get to that. So I'm continuing.
There was one for me. I can answer that question. It was when I was sitting in Paris and I knew these guys were going to have to go on the air, and I told
Oh,
Jezzer,
man.
wait for me to get there, and he's
man.
no, we got this. And
we
I
got
come
this.
back that Sunday morning, it's a shitstorm. That was one of those situations for me.
Oh my god. But so yeah, so I'm throwing up in the trash can, and like I said, finally, just lifting up or whatever, and now I'm knocked out and holding on to the trash can. They're like, "What's that smell? It doesn't smell like just vomit. It smells like a little bit more, like something was coming out of both ends." Sure enough, they were right. Joe walks around and it's like Mount Vesuvius is coming out from behind me. Like it's overwhelming. It's out and it's on the chair. It's everywhere, and I'm throwing up in the trash can. So it's like that South Park moment.
It's not what you'd call a good night.
No, not a good night. Not a good night. Kids, alcohol poisoning is real. Don't drink too much. Drink responsibly.
That's what you call a lesson learned.
There you go, right? Boom, 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 boom. That's it. But no, yeah, so that's what happened to me. And then I had to be able to clean up everything. And we had to head home, and Joe was the one driving. So we had to put trash can bags on all the seats that I would even come remotely close to touching. And that's how we went home. And the windows were down. The top was down because the smell. And then I just got home. Turned on the shower, and I just laid in the shower. I don't know if I took. I woke up later in the bed.
So wait, so I'm gonna ask you a group of questions. You ready for these?
All right.
What's your favorite word?
All
right, that works.
No, cunt satchel.
What's your least favorite word? I've never heard you say that.
No,
word.
actually, no. Pleonasm is one of my favorite words.
What's your least favorite word?
Least favorite word. Restaurant. I hate writing it.
Really?
You know,
spell it.
That's once again. I can't.
Try.
I can't spell something. I can always write it.
Try it.
Restuarant. I don't know. I spelled
What's that
it wrong.
again?
Restuarant. I spelled it wrong. But if I write it down, I do it properly.
I'd have to see it. I'd have to see if you got it right.
I hate it.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Creatively, what turns me on is comedy. I love to make someone laugh. Also, I love to kind of be honest. Like, I love a lot of honesty in things that I write, or things that I imagine. I like that. Kind of making society look at itself. I kind of like that. So that's what really turns me on. Like, for example, Insecure, and things of that nature. Pro-black stuff is definitely something that just like sparks my opinion. Sparks me in so many ways.
What are your turnoffs?
Ignorance, racism, and
Sangria.
Well, yeah, there you go. No, I still like it though. I don't learn. That's it.
What is your what sound or noise do you love?
A sigh of satisfaction.
What the fuck's that mean?
I'm trying to be clean here. I don't know. I'm trying to be clean.
It's a sigh of satisfaction. Like you just drank your Coke for the first time?
Yeah, but more on an adult level.
What noise or sound do you hate?
I hate when somebody sucks their teeth. Like if I'm
I do
talking
too,
to I'm
actually.
talking to
I
somebody
do
and they
too.
go like, I'm like, fuck you, because automatically it's gonna be some
It's
bullshit.
called a lip smack.
Well, I call it sucking on teeth. Like,
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I would have finished up with my original route.
Being a barber.
No, what?
Butcher?
Therapist.
All right. What profession would you not like to do?
The guy that picks up the poop at the circus.
Behind yourself when you're drunk. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa.
The guy that picks up the elephant shit.
Yes. Goofy at the circus.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive to the pearly gates?
I wouldn't be interested in what God had to say, but I would be interested in what my father had to say. And what I would love to hear him say to me was the first joke I ever said that he laughed at, that let me know, oh shoot, okay, I'm funny. Like when I got him with a topical joke concerning Haiti, because he's Haitian, it was like figuring out that people can relate to, like you relate to your audience, and when you do, it's what gets them. And that hearing my dad say that joke to me and say, "That's my favorite joke," forget about it.
I have a question
That's
for
it.
you,
Forget
not about
it.
your dad, but about audiences. And the reason I kind of bring this up, I want to bring this up, is how important is it for you? And this is more of a message that I kind of want you to just share.
Mm-hmm.
But how important is it for you, for an audience to accept you? And if they don't, what's the course of action that you would take if they didn't?
Well, being a personality, that's at least how I kind of brand or market myself. It's important that the audience does like me. And if the audience doesn't like me, I do want to try to figure out why they don't, but I want to do it without changing myself. That's something you don't want to do because you don't want to sacrifice yourself for the numbers. It's like, what does it profit a man to gain the world and lose his soul? It's the same thing. If you're no longer you, you're essentially Cat Williams. Why do you want to be Cat Williams?
That's a lot of money.
No, well, yeah, congratulations, and he's got an Emmy. Now let's see him go ahead and do anything as far as winning an Oscar. I doubt it's going to happen.
But
now let's see him actually do another stand-up special. I doubt it's going to happen.
In fairness to Cat Williams, you get to a certain point where you don't have to.
It's very true, but the thing is, there are so many people that have won Emmys, and now what are they doing? Nothing right now, and it's like, dang.
But you don't have to. I think
no, but if that's the art that you love, if you say
I think that's a societal pressure.
Well, no, I'm saying if it's the art you love, shouldn't you want to continue doing the art you love? Like that's the thing.
I don't think it's just. I don't think it's just.
He says comedy is his thing.
I don't think it's just so one-guided because you can love something and not. I feel like you can love something and not do it and be perfectly fine as an outside listener. There's a lot of football players that just can't continue their careers anymore.
Well, yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
They still love it, but they can't do it.
They can't do it, and that, unfortunately for me, that's a personal hell in its own. Like imagine you're a person that loves to run. You used to be a runner. Let's say for some, God forbid, now you're in a wheelchair and all you can do is watch other people run. That is torture. That is hell. Because it's like, I can do that, but I can't do that. That's hell. And the thing is, I feel that in a lot of ways, I feel that he's in that personal kind of hell where it's like, dude, he says he wants to do stand-up. He said he wants to do this and blah, blah, and he's talking a good game, but you haven't done anything. You're not.
Well, let me ask you this: a lot of our younger fans here, because we do have younger fans here, I feel like they look to hashtag show for a sense of community, right? If you had to kind of sum up hashtag show and what you think it was in the utopia of what it can be, what is hashtag show to you?
Hashtag is a nerd or geek collective where everybody gets around and they're able to talk about like-minded geek things. That's why I love and say that phrase all the time when it comes to THS hashtaggers. I want that hashtag show to grow in a way that Nerdist never could because Nerdist lost its soul, in my opinion, as far as connecting with its audience. I want hashtag to always be something as far as a harbinger of a connection for people to always be able to say, I belong, and yet I'm recognized as well. That's what I feel hashtag is. It is a community, and I would hate to see the moment where the community aspect fades away.
So Toku did super chat a while back, and he did ask, has there been a stream that you thought is going to be a bad idea?
Well, that stream that got us in trouble. Honestly,
you knew it was going to be a bad idea?
I didn't know because I was thinking to myself like, "Oh man, Jezzer and I we have great connection. It's going to be like amazing." And then something when I did say, "Oh man, I'm going to get so in trouble for this," I was joking, but I was thinking like to myself, "Man, I don't know if we should do this without Joe." I just did think that.
But look, the last 2 weeks I wasn't here for
I wasn't
show.
afraid of regret. Exactly. But it was just something
then
about that
they did have to
episode.
bring Justin in just to make sure that like shit stays on track.
Justin was like, if you two, I promise you, I will kill both of you. Like, Justin was one of those. And behind the scenes, and it's true. It's true. But that was one where I said, oh man, it wasn't as much as I thought the episode, and to be honest, the episode where you cleaned up stuff.
I don't think I cleaned it up.
I'm just saying it. I'm being layman's terms.
No. Well, I found that episode that you guys got in heat for very ironic, mainly because I think maybe the week before from AX, we did an episode all on this subject.
I was gonna say,
and I said I laid it out, and if you guys, it's still on there. If you want to go back and watch it, it's there.
You didn't take it down.
But I laid it out in the way that we felt about it, and a lot of things I was saying was probably more harsh than what Jezzer was saying because it wasn't in a joking manner. I was being quite serious about it. However, I didn't take any backlash for it.
And that's the thing that kind of drove me insane because it was like, okay. It felt like people were ready to attack particular people because they thought that they could. Oh, you're tangible. I can touch you, so I'm going to attack you. And it was leagues upon leagues of people. Now, there are some people that no matter who it was, they were going to give their opinion. And they did. And I respect that. But there were so many other people that didn't. And sometimes it gets to a point where it was like, what are you doing this for? And my thing is, all right, this would really upset me. One person can't say a name, but I guess I can say a name. And after everything was done, this person was ready to attack Jezzer again for any and everything they could.
Ooh. Well, Realm. Really? I don't even know what you're talking
Realm.
about.
It's Realm. Realm was so quick to shit on Jezzer again. And this is my issue. I'm going to say this just like Pusha T said in an interview. Pusha T. When you shoot at my boy, this is the problem. I'm standing right next to my boy. So if you're shooting at him, there's a chance you may miss him and you may shoot me.
We're frozen.
Great. When I'm really getting into it. I'm just saying.
I think you're. No, we're frozen.
Oh, boy.
Oh, we're back.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So that's the thing where it's like, the thing is, when you're shooting at my boy, you have to watch out because, you hang out with your friends. You guys line up together. They're shooting at your boy, they may end up shooting at you. And the thing is, I'm not going to allow that. Because the thing is, it's a clear level of disrespect. You're like, if he dies, he dies. So that's what you feel about me, too, if you're feeling that way about him.
Right.
So my thing is, why so full of hate? Why is there a problem? There's a lot of situations I know that he has personally with Jezzer, and that's fine. But the thing is, you were on our show. You were talking to us, and you were very polite. And I understand that now we had a transgression, and there was an issue. But the thing is, how long are you going to choose to drag somebody down for that transgression and not accept their apology instead of accepting their apology and then understanding that they can move on?
Right.
Are you the only person that can change? Are you the only person that, oh, okay, you say sorry and now everything's fine, but if anyone else says it, you can't accept them? That's not what happens in the Ranger community. And you are not an example of what the Ranger community should be if you choose to act that way. Now, I know that you're an adult, and I know that you are not going to continue to act that way because you're not doing it now. I don't know what happened at that time, but the thing is, he's not able to say anything about it, but I felt a particular way about it, and I'm opening my mouth about it. Because the thing is, as you are a person or a personality on any level of a Ranger connection, people look up to you. People see you, and they think you are an example. And if you're going to be an example, you lead by example. So if you do something wrong, you fess up to it. I fessed up to my mistake. I understood where I went wrong. He fessed up to his mistake, and he understood where he went wrong. Can you say the same? I don't think you can. And I am ashamed at you for even thinking that you felt that you were okay to do such a thing. You have a platform. And as you stand on that platform, you have to sit there and understand that with that platform, you have a particular level of privilege that is given to you. You have to be able to speak to other people with that privilege and make sure that you can spread the one understanding word, which is acceptance, which is community. So don't stand there and say all about community and then later stand there and then shoot and throw rocks at someone. We're all in glass houses. So don't do that. Stand there and say, hey, how can I help you to help you build up on that glass house that, yeah, I may have thrown stones at because you were wrong at the time and that's why I threw them. But now that we're done and that war is over, let's work together. That's what I'm saying. You didn't choose to say, let's work together. I mean, you just said, well, okay, I don't like you and I'm just going to continue not to like you. Fix that problem. You're adults. Have actual words with that person. Don't sit there and just, okay, well, this is the problem, and I'm just going to never say anything about it, and then later be ready to attack this person again. I don't understand that. that's my opinion, and those are the words that I had to say. I know he didn't say it, but I felt a particular way about it, and maybe I'm going to get a lot of heat now. And if I'm going to get a lot of heat, then we need to go ahead and have a conversation because I'm ready at the stove. That's what I'm going to say about that.
With that said, I just don't trust guys that wear jorts. But
Whoa!
if you want to reach out to us on all social media, where can they find you?
You can find me at Battlestar Galactica. That's where you can find me. Any conversation you want to have, I'm right there on Instagram. You can also find me on Twitter at that hashtag BSG. That's it.
And you can get your T-shirt. Another T-shirt should be
Another
Daniel316
T-shirt.
says I just shit myself. I think that's
a good one.
Stone Cold
actually.
shirt.
I think that's a Stone Cold
with
shirt.
sangria
But-
instead of
but
beer.
it worked. Yeah, I was gonna say if it worked, picture of me holding you 2 bottles of sangria like this. And it's just, but then the brown shorts. And you'll
Sure.
know what's going
And
on.
if you order one of Daniel's shirts, he'll give you a phone call personally. So
Yes.
order
Yeah, I will.
a Battlestar Galactica shirt on our T Public store. Guys, thank you guys so much for joining us, getting a small insight into Daniel's life here at that hashtag show. I'm sure that there's going to be a follow-up pretty soon with you because a lot of people have been requesting some follow-up interviews.
yeah,
Jezzer in particular,
a lot of people are like, hey, I want to say some more things.
But yeah, I think the next one we're going to be doing is in a couple weeks.
Ooh.
We don't know who it's going to be yet, but it could be Kelly, it could be Jessica,
If you guys still want
it
to
could be Ro,
suggest some
it
options.
could be our new girl Tatiana,
Ooh.
could be Migdalia,
Ooh.
it could be a Corey. So there's a Johnny. It could be any of these guys.
Yeah.
So guys, thank you so
Johnny.
much for joining us tonight. Sorry for the technical difficulties that happened earlier on. Jezzer really doesn't want to watch the new Kamen Rider show because it's dog shit. But if you can convince him otherwise in social media to stay on board.
You can write to
If you want to hit him up and just to stay on board, send us a video comment about why Jezzer should keep watching this show. You can hit us up at fan questions
There you
at
go.
thathashtagshow.com. Send in your videos about why Jezzer has to keep watching the show.
Yes.
We get 5 or more videos, he has to watch it.
He
He'll
has
give
to
you his
watch it no
honest
matter what.
opinion. So there you go. Daniel's on Doctor Who tomorrow and on the Ranger wrap-up. Daniel, what can we expect from you on Doctor Who?
Doctor Who, you can expect some really good speculations and theories. We are running pretty solid or strong or whatever, I don't know, in that way. Elle and I are putting together some great fun moments for you guys to be able to go over that Doctor Who show. So enjoy that. And of course, I'm on Riverdale, blah, blah.
And retro wrap-up, what can we expect this week?
Retro Ranger wrap-up. Well, Joe is back, guys. So that means there's going to be some fun discussions.
That means it's going to be me shitting on Blackwing 90% of the time.
Well, most likely, and Blackwing enjoys it. That's why he's here, man.